Chapter 1390. Nangong Hao Shueshou, and the others gritted their teeth. They were so angry that their lungs were about to explode. That was a mysterious crystal. If they could get their hands on one, they might be able to reach the advanced stage, or even the peak stage of the 9th level of heaven. Then, they would become the most dazzling existence among the younger generation. However, that beautiful hope had been shattered, and it was all because of this hateful brat in front of him. The opponent was too terrifying. He forced everyone to retreat, and took first place. I don't believe it, I don't believe it. Next time let's add more people. I don't believe that the bastard can fight against 3 of us. Nangong Hao gritted his teeth. Yes, let's work together. Let's put aside our conflicts and subdue the bastard first. Yu Luosha's face was also cold. This time they came to an agreement. Yu Luosha, Nangong Hao, and Feng Huidi would work together to kill Lin Xian. However, this time Lin Xian didn't fight them head-on, because he sensed that someone was spying on him. So in order to not expose his identity, he decided to hide his abilities. He had to at least get his hands on the last mysterious crystal. Then, even if his identity was exposed, it wouldn't matter. Thus, in the end, Lin Xian quickly swam away, and did not fight against them at all. Damn it! Yu Luosha gritted her teeth. Ah, this is so infuriating. Nangong Hao roared crazily. When the 3 of them worked together, they were extremely powerful. Nobody could fight against them. However, the opponent changed his strategy and didn't fight them. Instead, he walked around them quickly. This made them feel like they were punching cotton. They didn't know where to start, and they couldn't use their strength. In the end, the last mysterious crystal was obtained by Lin Xian. Everyone was shocked. No one expected the situation to turn out like this. The 3 mysterious crystals could even create 3 powerful experts. However, all of them were obtained by Lin Xian. The other 7 heavens favorites didn't even get a single one. One had to admit that this was too hard to believe. Before this, the hot favorites were Nangong Hao, Shueshou, and Yu Luosha. Some people even speculated that the 3 of them could have gotten one each. But now Lin Xian had obtained all 3. The corners of everyone's mouths twitched in disbelief. Nangong Hao and the others' faces darkened. They wanted nothing more than to run away. Fuck, I can't take it, I really can't. Nangong Hao was so angry that he was trembling. Brat, just you wait. When we get out of the octatic treasure chest game, it'll definitely kill you. The mysterious crystal must be mine. Humph, you're too greedy. Bloodhand's eyes were also red, and the blood energy on his body was surging. No matter what, I must get the mysterious crystal. Ghost Li's expression was even more ferocious, like an evil spirit. Brat, hand over the mysterious crystal, and the blood soul stone obediently, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, when you leave the octatic treasure chest game, it will be the time of your death. Yu Luosha's voice was even colder. The others were also crazy. They stared at Lin Xian with murderous intent. Obviously, as soon as the octatic treasure chest game was out, these people would make a move to snatch the mysterious crystal in Lin Xian's hands. In the past, such a thing would never happen because no matter who obtained the mysterious crystal, they would immediately absorb it on the spot. The others could only watch, but it was different now. Not only did Lin Xian obtain 3 mysterious crystals, but he also kept them in his storage ring. He did not absorb any of them. This was equivalent to having a small sun above his head, telling others that the treasure was here. Come. Therefore, not only Nangong Hao, Bloodhand and the others, even the martial artists outside, and even the city lord who was hiding in the dark, were extremely tempted. Because as long as the octatic treasure chest game was out, they could make a move without any worries. Without the restriction of the octatic treasure chest game, Lin Xian would definitely be dead. Everyone's eyes were red. There was no other way. The mysterious crystal was too important. Whoever obtained it would be able to reach the peak and stand above everyone else. Therefore, even if Lin Xian's current identity was the disciple of the third guardian, they would not care. If they could break through, why would they care about the third guardian? In an instant, everyone looked at Lin Xian with greed in their eyes. Nangong Hao waved his hand, and the martial artists from the Divine Pill Hall immediately rushed forward and surrounded the array. On the other side, Bloodhand, Ghostly, and the others waved their hands as well. All the elite martial artists from the various halls quickly rushed over and surrounded the octatic treasure chest game. The surrounding martial artists were terrified and quickly retreated. Damn it, I'm afraid this is going to be troublesome. That kid is too strong. He snatched 3 mysterious crystals and did not give the other Sky Prides a chance. He's too arrogant and overbearing. The other Sky Prides will not agree. There will definitely be a huge battle. Hurry up and retreat. Otherwise, you won't even be able to keep your life. This Hua Wufeng is too arrogant. He could have left 1 crystal for the others. Now that he has taken all 3, the Heaven sect will not accept it. It's over. There will definitely be a huge battle. I'm afraid the enforcers will not care. Yeah, I'm afraid the city lord will want a piece of the pie too. The surrounding martial artists quickly retreated and kept discussing. Humph. In the crowd, Morong Qingcheng, who was dressed in purple, looked like a fairy. When she saw this, she snorted coldly. Beside her, Luo Bingshan looked cold. As long as Lin Xian gave the order, he would definitely take action. However, the dark red divine dragon shook his head and said, "The 2 of you don't have to do anything. Leave this small matter to that kid." As expected, Lin Xian looked around and sneered disdainfully. "Why? You can't beat me in a fair fight. So you want to snatch it by force? Kid, you're too arrogant. You can't take the mysterious crystals for yourself. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and hand it over. Perhaps you can keep your life. Otherwise, today will be your burial ground." Nangonghao snorted coldly. Bloodhand was also emitting a murderous aura. "I advise you not to make a mistake. Hurry up and hand over the mysterious crystals." Hand over the crystals? I don't have the habit of spitting out what I've taken. Lin Xian shrugged. "Also, you losers, do you really think you can beat me? Hee. Although none of us are a match for you in a one-on-one fight. What if we join forces?" Ghostly smiled sinisterly. "With the 7 of us joining forces, do you think you can escape? Moreover, there are elites from our various halls around." "That's right. The city lord's mansion will not let you off either." Gu Yuan's face was ferocious. "Kid, kneel down obediently and hand over the mysterious crystals and blood soul stone. I can spare your life." Yu Luosha also shouted. The 7 Sky Pride's eyes were like lightning as they stared at Lin Xian. The killing intent and greed on their bodies were not concealed at all. Then, the 7 of them quickly turned around and left the octatic treasure chest game. This was because they could not kill anyone in the octatic treasure chest game. They could only attack after they came out. Chapter 1391. Kid, hurry up and come down to die. Stay up there forever if you dare. I don't believe you won't come out. Hee, you think you can stop me? If I want to leave, even God can't stop me. Lin Shui sneered, then stepped out and left the octatic treasure chest game. What? He came out, he actually came out. The surrounding martial artists exclaimed in disbelief. No way, this guy is too arrogant. He actually dared to come out. Yeah, he's definitely dead if he comes out. In the octatic treasure chest game, the array can block most of the damage, so it's absolutely safe. But once he comes out, he'll lose the defense of the array. With the strength of the 7 geniuses, I'm afraid no one can withstand their anger. It's over, it's over. That kid is dead for sure. Everyone shook their heads and sighed. They all thought that Lin Xian was too arrogant. Nangonghao, Blood Rogue, Ghostly, and the others laughed wildly. They didn't expect that Lin Xian would really come out. Idiot kid, you're too arrogant. Today will be the day you die. What an idiot. Do you really think you're invincible? Hand over the mysterious crystal. Kill. A series of cold shouts could be heard. Then the 7 geniuses quickly attacked. This time, they were completely on the same side, and decided to kill Lin Xian together. Nangonghao's figure was tall, and his cold face was filled with killing intent. He was too aggrieved previously. He actually lost to Lin Xian in the field he was best at. Therefore this time, he wanted to vent the anger in his heart. He had to blast Lin Xian into pieces. Die brat! Countless purple flames surged out of his body, and turned into a purple qilin in front of him. It roared ferociously and terrifying heat spread out in all directions. This time, I won't give you any chance. Blood Rogue's expression was cold as killing intent surged all over his body. A river of blood surged behind him, emitting a monstrous smell of blood. In the next moment, the river of blood danced and wrapped around his arm, forming a mysterious pattern. Then he struck out with his palm. Suddenly the sky, the ground, and the ground all turned blood red. It was as if the space had become azure hell. The scene was extremely terrifying. It made one's scalp tingle in despair. I will make you kneel until you die. Yu Luocha's beautiful face was very cold. She waved the human face peach blossom fan, and the pink mist formed an extremely strange light that slashed towards Lin Xian. Kikik, your soul is mine. Ghostly laughed sinisterly, holding the white bone banner in his hand. Countless ghosts and vengeful spirits quickly rushed forward. Kill. Feng Huti didn't say anything. She just gripped the black spear in her hand tightly and stabbed out quickly. Soul-extinguishing spear. This spear was like a black torrent, directly piercing through the void, quickly stabbing towards Lin Xian. Die brat! Gu Yuan's face was ferocious and distorted. He waved the long sword in his hand, and slashed out several sharp sword lights. Every single sword light contained all of his power. At this moment when they flew out together, it was terrifying to the extreme. The 7 experts attacked at the same time, causing the entire space in front of them to collapse rapidly. An incomparably terrifying power instantly rushed towards Lin Xian, as if it wanted to tear him to pieces. Horrifying, this was too horrifying. Each of the 7 prodigies was an extremely powerful existence. When the 7 of them attacked, it could be said that no one could compare. The martial artists watching from afar felt their scalps go numb, and their faces were filled with despair. In front of this power, they were like tiny ants, unable to resist at all. Many people were even suppressed by this aura, until they knelt on the ground, trembling. It's over. That brat is really finished. Everyone shook their heads because in front of the 7 prodigies, even the hall master might not be able to resist. But Lin Xian was still calm, and there was even disdain at the corner of his mouth. To outsiders, these attacks were incomparably terrifying, and no one could resist them. But in his eyes it was nothing. One had to know that he had once faced Prince Lingfeng's powerful attack. At that time, there were 10 peak 9th heaven martial artists, plus dozens of 9th heaven supremacies, and hundreds of 8th heaven supremacies. That lineup was hundreds of times more than now. However, he could destroy any kind of lineup with a wave of his hand, let alone the ones in front of him. Is this all you've got? Really pitifully weak. People like you are worthy of being called prodigies? Today, I'll let you see what a true prodigy is. Lin Xian sneered. His black hair fluttered, and a powerful aura surged from his body, instantly exploding. An extremely powerful force exploded from Lin Xian's body, like an ancient ferocious beast awakening, and it was terrifying. His vitality was vigorous, and it shot straight into the sky. There was even a low dragon's roar coming from his body. He punched out, and the terrifying force directly caused the void in front of him to explode. The 7 fatal attacks that were charging toward him were shattered by this punch, turning into countless streams of violent energy. What? He blasted it apart with one punch? That's impossible. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe their eyes. Meanwhile, the 7 prodigies' pupils constricted as they screamed. What was going on? They couldn't believe that the other party had blasted their 7 attacks apart with one punch. How was that possible? One had to know that they were all prodigies. and every one of them was extremely powerful. The 7 of them together could even defeat their hall master. But now their 7 attacks had actually been blasted apart with one punch. What kind of technique is that? They couldn't believe it. Perhaps even the 4 guardians of the sacred sect couldn't do it. Only the legendary left and right messengers and the Black Dragon sect's sect leader could do it. But now, the person who had done it was only a 20-year-old young man, and his cultivation was only at the 8th heaven of the honorable realm. They couldn't believe it. No, impossible, this can't be real. Nan Gonghao screamed crazily. Damn it, how did you do it? Bloodhand's face was ferocious. Impossible, this must be a fucking illusion. Ghost Li's face was ugly, and he no longer had the arrogance from before. Yu Luosha and Feng Hudi lost their colors as well. At this moment, all 7 geniuses were stunned by this punch. You're just a bunch of ants. How dare you call yourself prodigies? Do you really think that 7 ants working together can kill a giant dragon? Ignorant. Lin Xian snorted. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian's black hair fluttered in the wind. At that moment, he was like a god of war, looking disdainfully at his surroundings. His powerful aura suffocated everyone. In the next moment, his figure flashed and he charged towards the 7 prodigies. On the opposite side, the 7 prodigies' pupils constricted. Then they roared and unleashed their most powerful techniques to counterattack. There was no way out now. They could only fight with their backs against the wall to survive. Otherwise, with Lin Xian's strength, they wouldn't be able to contend against him. Nan Gonghao, alchemy genius, unparalleled flame? Trash like you don't dare to play with fire in front of me? Chapter 1392. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian had arrived in front of Nan Gonghao. His speed made everyone's hair stand on end. That was because they hadn't noticed when Lin Xian had arrived. Nan Gonghao's expression changed drastically. His handsome face was filled with fear. He had not expected Lin Xian to find him first. Why? Why did he find me first? Nan Gonghao roared in his heart. However, he could not care less. He could only grit his teeth and fight back with all his might. Let me show you my flame martial soul. Purple River martial soul condense. Nangong Hao roared crazily. Suddenly, countless purple flames condensed on his body and formed a purple Kylin in front of him. The Kylin was made up of flames. It was mighty and exuded a terrifying power. This was Nangong Hao's martial soul. Go to hell, brat. Along with the voice, the purple Kylin roared and pounced on Lin Xian. The heat from the flames burned black holes in the void. Is this how you can be so arrogant? Purple flame? Ridiculous. Let me show you what a real flame Kylin is. Lin Xian roared. Then countless black flames gushed out from his body and formed a huge monster in front of him. This time, it was also a Kylin. It was black and ferocious. Its aura was 10 times stronger than Nangong Hao's. The huge black Kylin was like a peerless demon. It looked down and slapped Nangong Hao's purple Kylin into powder. Puff! Nangong Hao was severely injured. He vomited blood and knelt on the ground. No, impossible. He could not believe that Lin Xian had used the same move as him. Moreover, the power was 10 times stronger than his. He was in despair. Trash. Lin Xian snorted and turned to leave. The huge black Kylin disappeared quickly. However, only a black palm was left hanging above Nangong Hao's head. With just a little bit of strength, Nangong Hao would be burned to ashes. No. Feeling the terrifying aura above his head, Nangong Hao screamed in despair. He knew that he had been defeated. Lin Xian could easily kill him. He didn't know who the other party was to have such power, but he knew that he had to survive. No, you can't kill me. I'm a genius of the Divine Pill Hall. If you kill me, the Divine Pill Hall won't let you off. Lin Xian snorted coldly and ignored him. Then, with a flash, he appeared in front of Blood Hand again. Blood Demon King, come out. Blood Hand's face was ferocious as he shouted with all his might. He knew that it was too late to say anything now. He could only fight with everything he had to survive. Therefore, he did not hesitate to summon his martial soul. Blood chi surged from his body, emitting a monstrous killing intent. A figure slowly condensed from the blood river behind him. It was a blood-colored giant that was 2 meters tall. His limbs were thick and muscular, and his face was ferocious. He did not look like a human at all, but a blood demon. Not only that, but there were blood-colored patterns all over his body, forming an extremely mysterious pattern. This was Blood Hand's martial soul, the Blood Demon King. As soon as he walked out, his surroundings turned blood red. His monstrous killing intent made everyone tremble. This Blood Demon King's aura was too fierce. It was definitely formed by killing countless people. Kid, do you know how my martial soul was formed? Blood Hand's voice was ferocious. This Blood Demon King was formed after I killed 10,000 elite martial artists. 10,000. When the surrounding people heard this, they all trembled. This was the real 10,000 massacre. No wonder he had such a terrifying Blood Demon King. Ordinary martial artists had no chance of winning against Blood Hand. This was because Blood Hand did not even need to make a move. Just the terrifying Blood Demon King's aura alone was enough to crush the opponent's will. 10,000 massacre? After Lin Xian heard this, he laughed disdainfully. Then he said in a deep voice, "Is this what you're so proud of? With this little bit of Blood Demon King's aura? You're still far from it. Today I'll show you what the real Blood Demon King's aura is." He snorted coldly and quickly displayed the Blood Sword Massacre inheritance. An extremely terrifying Blood Demon King's aura gushed out from Lin Xian's body and instantly filled the surroundings. The surrounding sky turned blood red. Not only that, a vast sea of blood appeared around him, instantly turning the southern desolation ancient town into a blood-red azure hell. Blood Sea, this was the real Blood Sea. It was as if it had materialized and appeared in the surroundings. In the Blood Sea, countless white bones and corpses floated, emitting a monstrous murderous aura. What? How is this possible? Blood Hand was shocked and could not believe it. He did not expect his opponent to have such a powerful Blood Demon King's aura. Moreover, from this aura, it was more than 10 times stronger than his. If the blood-red murderous aura on his body was a surging river, then Lin Xian's murderous aura was a boundless ocean that stretched as far as the eye could see. The murderous aura on Lin Xian's body was countless times bigger than his. How was this a battle? This was a comparison between an ant and a giant dragon. They were not on the same level at all. Boom! In front of Lin Xian's blood massacre. Bloodhand's martial soul could not withstand it at all and exploded. Puff! Bloodhand vomited a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted and turned to leave, walking towards his next target. The blood sea around him quickly condensed, forming a blood-red palm, floating above Bloodhand's head. As long as it lightly patted, it would be destroyed. Everyone was shocked. This method was too terrifying. Because Bloodhand and Nangong Hao were defeated, completely defeated. They lost in their strongest and most confident domain. And Lin Xian was like a demon god, once again walking towards Ghostly. You, what do you want to do? Ghostly's face was pale with fright, his heart was shocked. He gritted his teeth and coldly snorted. Good method, it is indeed a good method. I didn't expect your mastery of fire and blood to be so high. Even Bloodhand and Nangong Hao are not your opponents. But, I do not believe that you also cultivate the Soul Dao. If you have the ability, use the same method to defeat me. Ghostly madly roared. He could already see that Lin Xian was obviously trying to attack them. But he did not believe that he would lose this time. Because he cultivated the Soul Dao, possessing millions of souls. And such a person's characteristics were very obvious. But the other party did not have the aura of vengeful spirits. So, he did not believe that the other party could use the same martial skill as him. In the next moment, Ghostly roared and quickly waved the white bone banner. Immediately, millions of vengeful spirits whistled out. Ghosts wailed and wolves howled. Yin Qi permeated the heaven and earth, causing one's scalp to go numb. On the huge white bone banner, countless white bone claws stretched out. It was very terrifying. Ghost Dao. Lin Xian coldly snorted. To be honest, he did not know this martial skill. But he had the great dragon sword spirit, which was an offensive saint technique between heaven and earth. It could evolve and simulate everything. Chapter 1393. Soon, Lin Xian waved his hand, and a terrifying vengeful spirit appeared in his hand. As soon as the vengeful spirit appeared, it stirred up a chilly wind, causing everyone to tremble. As for Gui Li and the rest, they all knelt in the air, and kept worshipping, as if they had met their emperor. Impossible. This is impossible. I don't believe it. Gui Li's expression changed drastically, and even his body started to tremble. He did not believe that Lin Xian could summon the same spirit as him. Moreover, his aura was 10 times stronger than his. Illusion, you must be using an illusion. Gui Li gritted his teeth, and waved the white bone banner, quickly attacking. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and controlled the vengeful spirit formed by the great dragon sword soul to attack. Boom! Instantly, Gui Li's vengeful spirit shattered, and the white bone banner also cracked into 2 halves. Defeated again. In an instant, the terrifying Gui Li was also defeated. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed, and the remaining 4 Sky Prides felt their scalps go numb. They looked at each other, and then quickly attacked. This time they would definitely take the initiative. Human Face Peach Blossom Fan. Yu Luosha shouted, and waved the folding fan in her hand. Immediately, the folding fan expanded rapidly and opened up. There was a human face formed by peach blossoms on it. It was extremely strange, and emitted a terrifying aura. The human face was ferocious, and it spat out a pink mist that was extremely terrifying and corrosive. As soon as it appeared, black holes were burned in the void. Even a 9th heaven supremacy would be turned into a pool of pus if they touched it. The mist formed a ray of light that charged towards Lin Xian. Soul Extinguishing Spear. Daoyuo Sword Technique. A black spear, a sharp sword light, and an extremely terrifying saber light quickly attacked Lin Xian. The black spear was powerful enough to extinguish souls, and it could extinguish the souls of others. The sword light was even more dazzling, and it was completely golden. It was as heavy as 10,000 pieces of gold, and it was like a golden mountain that came crashing down. Shadowless also slashed out a saber light. He did not attack at close range, but directly attacked. That blade light was dazzling like a shooting star. Moreover, it was swift and fierce to the extreme. That killing intent was not the slightest bit weaker than blood hands. Moreover, it was soundless and impossible to guard against. The 4 attacks were incomparably terrifying. They were all the absolute arts of the 4 people. Lin Xian coldly snorted, and waved his arms rapidly. Suddenly, a black spear appeared in his hand. With a thrust of the spear, the terrifying spear light was as sharp as a black dragon. Furthermore, there was an extremely powerful soul power entwined around it. Soul Extinguishing Spear. He had used the great dragon sword art to create this spear. What? That's impossible. How did you do it? Feng Huti's beautiful face lost all color. Her face was full of shock. Not only that, Lin Xian waved his arm again and a golden sword light, like an ancient demonic mountain, pierced through the sky and covered the entire space with a layer of gold. The Daoyuo sword technique was exactly the same, and it was even more terrifying than Gu Yuan's. What? That's impossible. Gu Yuan screamed. A ray of light flew out from Lin Xian's fingertip. Like the Milky Way, it instantly split the entire void into 2. Windless slash. Shadowless pupil shrank. He did not expect his absolute art to appear in the hands of others. That was not the end. Lin Xian used his spiritual power to form a folding fan and slapped it forward. The power of the human face peach blossom fan was 10 times stronger than Yu Luocha's. That's impossible. Yu Luocha was extremely shocked and could not believe it. That was her absolute art. But it was actually used by the other party. Furthermore, the power was even more terrifying than what they had used. Although they had seen Lin Xian's technique before, they still could not believe it when they saw it again. The so-called absolute art was naturally something that only they knew. Others could not grasp it at all. However, the other party could use it. Not only did it look the same, but its power was even more terrifying. They could not understand what kind of technique was used to achieve this. Boom, 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 boom. Their attacks were instantly broken, and the 4 of them were heavily injured and fell to the ground. In an instant, the 7 Sky Prides were defeated once again. This time they were all heavily injured. Lin Xian waved his hand again. Immediately, four terrifying palms appeared and pressed on the sky prides of those people. Brat, you dare to touch me? I will make you wish you were dead. Yuluocha screamed. She had never been threatened like this before. The corner of Shadowless' mouth twitched, and his expression turned ugly. Feng Huti also snorted coldly. Gu Yuan knelt on the ground and begged loudly for mercy. I beg you, don't kill me. Don't kill me. I didn't mean to target you previously. Now I apologize to you. Please let me go. The last person, Gu Yuan, started to beg for mercy. When the surrounding warriors saw this scene, they all had different expressions. Some shook their heads, some felt pity, and some sneered. They did not expect Gu Yuan to kneel and beg for mercy. In the sky, Elder Lingus' expression was also ugly. As for the city lord, who was hiding in the dark, he snorted coldly in his heart. Lin Xian ignored the threats and curses of those sky prides. He slowly raised his palm, and was about to land it. Nangong Haoqi's face was pale, and filled with despair. He had never expected that he would die here one day. However, at this critical moment, the ground suddenly began to tremble. It was as if there was an earthquake, or as if thousands of soldiers and horses had arrived. What's going on? The surrounding warriors were shocked. They did not know what had happened. Lin Xian also frowned, and did not continue to attack those 7 people. This made the 7 of them heave a sigh of relief. At the same time, hope rose in their hearts. This is great. As long as we can delay for a while, the hall masters of their respective halls will arrive. At that time, they will be safe. Brat, just you wait. When our hall masters arrive, they will definitely kill you. I will make you wish you were dead. Nangong Haoqi and the others roared in their hearts. Lin Xian turned around and looked into the distance. His eyes were like 2 rays of sword light that pierced through the void. Soon, the crowd understood what had happened. This was because countless figures were flying towards them. These people were dressed in black robes and had blood-red hair. Their faces were ferocious, and each of them had a strong murderous aura. They were like death gods. Shura Hall. The Shura Hall's army is here. The crowd exclaimed in horror. They did not expect the Shura Hall to arrive at this critical moment. It's over. It looks like the Shura Hall is here for revenge. That's for sure. The Shura Hall lost 3 elders, and more than 10 disciples. They have also lost face. No matter what, they will not take this lying down. But that Hua Wufing is not simple either. Those 7 sky prides are no match for him. I wonder if the Shura Hall can subdue him? Are you stupid? No matter how powerful those sky prides are, there are only 7 of them. The Shura Hall has brought hundreds of experts this time. Even their hall master is here. Chapter 1394. In the distance, Nangong Hao, Blood Hand, and the others who were kneeling on the ground were overjoyed when they saw the Azura Hall. With the Azura Hall's help, they could definitely kill them. Even if they couldn't kill them, they could at least buy some time for their hall master to arrive. Therefore, they didn't say anything and just watched the scene with excitement. Boom, boom, boom. The Azura army arrived and countless cold gazes swept across the area. When they saw the miserable state of Nangong Hao and the others, they were stunned for a moment. However, they quickly swept past them and stared at Lin Xian. "You're that Hua Wufeng?" a tall young man asked coldly. He was the Azura Hall's prodigy and the first division master, Ming Xiao. On the other hand, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and sneered as he looked at the black mass of people before him. "What's the matter? Killing the old redhead actually provoked so many redheads. Are you all here for revenge? Impudent. You're courting death. Slap him. Kid, you're courting death." The Azura Hall's martial artists roared. The surrounding martial artists' mouths twitched. Perhaps only Lin Xian dared to call the Azura Hall's members redheads. "Kid, you killed my Azura Hall's elder, and now you're insulting my Azura Hall. You deserve to die." A tall and sturdy middle-aged man with a ferocious face shouted coldly. He was the Azura Hall's hall master, Venerable Azura. His voice was filled with boundless killing intent, and it quickly spread in all directions. Everyone's mind went blank and their ears trembled. Some of the weaker martial artists couldn't withstand the killing intent and fainted. Terrifying, too terrifying. As expected of the Azura Hall's hall master, he was much stronger than Nangong Hao and the others of the younger generation. Nangong Hao and the others were only at the intermediate 9th rank, but the Azura Hall's hall master was at the late 9th rank. He was extremely powerful. The Azura Hall's hall master was comparable to the 7 prodigies from before. "You want to compete with me in killing intent? You're still lacking. Get lost," Lin Xian shouted coldly. Suddenly, the sound waves turned into countless blades and swords that rushed in all directions. The killing intent turned into sword chi that swept across the sky. The terrifying sound waves tore the void apart. It was too terrifying. The killing intent released by Lin Xian was stronger than the Azura Hall's hall master. The Azura Hall's martial artists were horrified. Not only that, the murderous aura swords in the sky quickly condensed into a huge sword of slaughter, which then slashed toward the people of the Azura Hall. Boom! With a loud bang, the terrifying sword of slaughter descended. Instantly, the entire space shook violently. That terrifying murderous chi surged, as if it could destroy everything. Not good. Damn it! How dare you! Those from the Azura Hall were shocked, and the Azura Hall's hall master was furious. He waved his hand and quickly slapped the air in front of him. The momentum of this punch was extremely frightening. The terrifying fist directly shook the sky to the point of shattering. In the next moment, the fist collided with the sword of slaughter, and an earth-shaking sound was heard. Countless lightning bolts flashed at the point of collision. Violent energy swept out in all directions. This aura caused the surrounding martial artists to tremble, their bodies trembling all over. What was even more shocking was that the Azura Hall's hall master's punch didn't shatter the sword sky. The sword chi shone in the air like a sword of death. It was extremely sharp. "What? He's fine. How is this possible?" The Azura Hall's members were shocked. The surrounding martial artists were in an uproar. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful that he could contend with the Azura Hall's hall master. No wonder he could beat the other sky prides. The next moment, the Azura Hall's hall master's Azura Hall fist was split in half. The sword chi didn't disappear. It continued to slash at the Azura Hall's members. "Damn it! Who is this kid? He's so strong." The Azura Hall's hall master was shocked. Although he didn't use his full strength in that punch, he still used 70% of his strength. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't be able to contend with the Sky Pride. However, Lin Xian withstood it. Not only that, Lin Xian even broke his fist. He had to admit that this was beyond his expectations. "You're courting death." The Azura Hall's hall master roared and punched again. This time, he used all his strength to shatter Lin Xian's sword chi. He wasn't the only one. The hundreds of Azura Hall's martial artists behind him roared and attacked as well. Palm shadows and fist forces shot up into the sky and bombarded the Sword of Slaughter. Boom! The next moment the sky exploded again. Boundless energy surged and covered the entire space. Many martial artists were sent flying by the energy storm. Some of the weaker martial artists screamed in agony. The Azura Hall's members retreated as a whole, leaving deep grooves on the ground. This scene was too terrifying. So many Azura Hall's elite martial artists attacked together. There was even an honorable Azura among them. However, they still couldn't withstand Lin Xian's sword. This was too unbelievable. The honorable Azura roared. "Kid, you've angered me. I'll let you know what it means to wish you were dead." Behind him, the hundreds of Azura Hall's elite martial artists also roared crazily. "Kid, kneel down and accept your death." Their voices vibrated, and their momentum shook the sky. The terrifying sound waves seemed to overturn the sky. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Cut the crap. Get over here and accept your death." Formation, Azura God slaughtering formation. The honorable Azura roared. Immediately, the hundreds of Azura Hall's martial artists behind him moved quickly and formed a terrifying formation. Murderous intent gushed out from these people and quickly condensed in the air, forming a terrifying killing formation. This formation was extremely powerful. Now that it was formed by hundreds of Azura Hall's elites, it was even more powerful. Even a Hall Master level martial artist wouldn't be able to escape death if he entered. On the other hand, Lin Xian's black hair fluttered in the wind. The furious dragon art in his body was circulating rapidly. His body was full of vitality, like a huge dragon. Then his palms quickly formed a seal. Qiongqi transformation. A deep voice sounded. Then a huge figure appeared in the sky. It was the ancient beast Qiongqi. This was the first transformation of the 9 firmament transformations. At this moment, Lin Xian fully displayed it. His huge body was like a real demonic beast that had been reborn. It was extremely terrifying. Taking a step forward, heaven and earth shook. Then, Qiongqi moved his huge body and rushed toward the hundreds of Azura Hall's martial artists. Boom! Qiongqi's power shook the sky and the earth. He crashed into the Azura God slaughtering formation that had just been formed. "You're courting death. Destroy him." The Azura Hall's martial artists roared. However, they had underestimated Lin Xian's attack. The 9 firmament transformations was a true earth-class cultivation technique. Moreover, Lin Xian had used the furious roar art and the power of the great dragon sword soul. It could be said that his attack was unstoppable. Soon, the blood-colored formation that had just been formed shattered into pieces. The sound of metal breaking could be heard. Boom! 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 The mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. Countless Azura Hall's martial artists were smashed into meat paste. Even more were sent flying. In an instant, the smell of blood and screams could be heard. What? The Azura God slaughtering formation was broken? How is this possible? Everyone was shocked and couldn't believe it. The Azura Honorable's eyes were red. "Brat, how dare you kill my Azura Hall's disciples? I want you dead. Die." Chapter 1395. What? The Azura God slaughtering array was broken? How is that possible? Everyone was shocked and didn't dare to believe it. The Azura Venerable's eyes turned red. "Brat, you dared to kill my Azura Hall's disciple. I'll kill you. Die for me." A figure flew out. It was the Azura Hall's prodigy Ming Xiao. He roared and rushed into the sky with the blood-colored spear in his hand. Azura God slaughtering spear. The spear thrust out, causing the wind and clouds to change. Blood-colored runes revolved around the spearhead and emitted a terrifying power. Lin Xian coldly snorted and changed his palm again. Qiongqi changed into a sky-shaking roar. Suddenly, the huge Qiongqi in the sky turned around and faced the Azura prodigy. Then it opened its bloody mouth and emitted a terrifying sound wave. Roar! The sound wave burst forth and quickly spread, causing the sky in front of it to explode. The blood-colored spear exploded in the terrifying sound wave and turned into countless fragments. The Azura Hall's prodigy, Ming Xiao, screamed miserably as his body was cut into countless pieces. His corpse fell and blood dyed the sky red. A prodigy was killed just like that. What? He's dead. Nangong Hao and the others, who were kneeling in the distance, narrowed their eyes and had a drastic change in expression. They didn't expect that Ming Xiu, who was on the same level as them, would be killed so easily. That was a prodigy of the Azura Hall. How could he dare to kill him? Ah, damn brat, I'll kill you. The 4 elders of the Azura Hall soared into the sky like bolts of lightning, bringing with them a torrential killing intent. They were mad with anger. The other party had killed their Azura Hall's prodigy. It was an unforgivable crime. However, Lin Xian changed his palm again. Sky rock transformation, golden sword. Suddenly, the sky trembled and a golden figure appeared. It was a giant bird. When it spread its wings, it covered the sky and emitted a terrifying aura. Not only that, but the golden feathers also transformed into 100,000 long swords that slashed downward. Puff! Puff! In an instant, the 4 elders were cut in half. Not only that, but the Azura Hall's martial artists below were also pierced by several golden swords. In an instant, all the Azura Hall martial artists were killed. The only person still alive was the Azura Hall's Hall Master, Venerable Azura. They were all wiped out. They were all wiped out in an instant. Everyone was shocked, not daring to believe what they were seeing. What kind of method was this? Is he really the disciple of the third guardian? How could this be? I'm afraid even the third protector doesn't have that kind of ability. Let alone the third protector. I'm afraid that even the left and right emissaries might not be able to do it. I'm afraid that only the sect master would be able to do it. Everyone was in a daze. The venerable Shura roared madly. Damn brat, I'm going to kill you. His heart was bleeding. Those were the elites of his Azura Hall. He couldn't accept the fact that all of them had been killed in an instant. Perhaps, after this battle, the Azura Hall's strength would drop to 1,000 feet. They wouldn't even be able to defeat the weakest Nether Hall. And all of this was caused by this detestable brat in front of him. Therefore, he had to kill him. Die brat! The venerable Azura's expression was ferocious as he charged toward Lin Xian at lightning speed. Countless purple lights gushed out from his body, and his aura was extremely terrifying. Azura palm. A dazzling light burst out from his palm. The entire void could not withstand it at all. This time, he was determined to kill. Not only did he use all of his strength, but he also used the Azura Hall's ultimate technique, the Azura palm. No one of the same level as him dared to resist this palm. Lin Xian was as fast as lightning. He shouted coldly, then raised his arm and slashed out with his sword. Lin Xian slashed out a sword light that emitted a sharp aura. It instantly collided with the purple palm. The venerable Azura's expression changed immediately. He had gone crazy and attacked recklessly. However, when his opponent's sword really slashed his body, he regretted it very much. That was because the sword chi was too sharp, and he could not withstand it at all. Therefore, in the next moment, the purple Azura palm that he unleashed was instantly cut in half. Not only that, but the sword also split his palm and severed his entire arm. Ah! The venerable Azura screamed miserably at the sky. However, that was not the end. The sharp sword light was still descending rapidly, and was about to kill him. However, at that moment, a furious roar suddenly came from the void. Stop! The voice was very loud and clear. It was like a clap of thunder that shook the void. Buzz! The long sword stopped and hung above the venerable Azura's head. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. His gaze was like lightning as he scanned the distance. Then he said coldly, "Who are you? What do you want to say?" The void moved quickly, and a majestic figure appeared. It was a middle-aged man with tiger eyes and a lion's nose. He looked very dignified. As soon as the figure appeared, Elder Linghu and the rest of the people from the law enforcement hall hurriedly exclaimed, "Greetings, City Lord." He's the City Lord of the Southern Wilderness Ancient Town. Everyone was shocked as they looked at the sky. They did not expect that the mysterious City Lord had finally appeared. Below, when Gu Yuan, who was being controlled, saw this scene, he also shouted loudly, "City Lord, quickly save me." Humph. The City Lord snorted coldly and ignored him. Previously, when Gu Yuan knelt and begged for mercy, he had embarrassed the Southern Wilderness Ancient Town. How could he save him? Moreover, he was doing this to save the venerable Azura. Hence, he quickly said, You can't kill him. Can't kill him? Lin Xian sneered. Give me a reason. Because he's the hall master of the Azura Hall. Nonsense. Of course, I know that he's the hall master of the Azura Hall. However, that's not a reason to not kill him. The hall master of the Azura Hall said in a ferocious voice. Brat, are you really touched by my actions? When the time comes, I'm afraid that even the third law won't be able to protect you. The sacred sect will definitely not let you go. Hua Wufeng, did you hear that? Hurry up and release the venerable Azura. Everything can still be discussed. Don't make a big mistake. Otherwise, it'll be too late for regrets. The city lord said coldly. That's what you want to say. It seems that you can't give any other reason. In that case, get lost. You. The city lord was furious. His face was gloomy. No one had ever dared to treat him like this. However, before he could get angry, he was stunned. This was because Lin Xian, who was in front of him, waved his arm. The sword light directly slashed down and split the venerable Azura in half. Bang! The hall master of the Azura Hall was killed. His corpse fell to the ground, and his blood dyed the sky red. What? The hall master of the Azura Hall is dead. Everyone was shocked and could not believe it. That was the hall master of the Azura Hall. He was an extremely important figure. Even the four great protectors did not dare to kill him easily. However, now, a 20-year-old young man had killed the hall master of the Azura Hall. This was the rhythm of breaking through the sky. Chapter 1396. In the distance, Nangong Hao Shueshou and the others were in despair. They didn't expect the other party to be so bold as to kill the hall master. This made them extremely terrified. With the other party's way of doing things, he would definitely kill the 7 of them if he had the time. Hall master, please come quickly. Nangong Hao and the others quickly prayed in their hearts. The city lord's face was extremely gloomy. He didn't expect the other party to really kill him. Moreover, the thing that he had been guessing for a long time was now clear. You're too bold. No one dares to be so bold, at least not the disciples of the sacred religion. The city lord's voice was cold. You're not the third guardian's disciple. Who are you? He's not the third guardian's disciple? Everyone exclaimed. They didn't expect things to turn out this way. For a moment, everyone looked at the sky and stared at Lin Xian. Who are you? What's your purpose in coming to my southern wasteland ancient array? The city lord's eyes were piercingly cold. A powerful aura surged from his body, making him look like a god of war. However, Lin Xian only sneered. He stretched out his index finger and gently pointed forward. Void-shattering finger. A streak of purple light shot out like a ghost. You're courting death. How dare you attack me? The city lord was furious. He was about to counterattack, but in the next moment, his body trembled and his pupils dilated. A stream of blood flowed down from his forehead. No, impossible. The city lord opened his eyes wide and said a few words with difficulty. Then his neck tilted and he fell from the sky. Boom! The ground trembled and dust flew. The city lord's body didn't stand up again. What? He's dead? Everyone was shocked. The enforcers were even more terrified. Among them, Elder Ling, who quickly moved to the city lord's corpse. He quickly checked it and then gasped. He was really dead. There was a finger-sized hole in the city lord's forehead. Black blood flowed out from it. This was the power of Lin Xian's void-shattering finger. What? The city lord is dead. He was killed by a finger. Everyone was shocked and couldn't believe it. Previously, the venerable Azura had resisted for a while before he was killed. However, the city lord had been killed with a single finger. He didn't even have the chance to resist. Impossible, this can't be true. The people from the city lord's mansion shook their heads frantically, not daring to believe it. On the other hand, Elder Ling Hu and the others were horrified. They looked at Lin Xian with fear in their hearts, not daring to take revenge. Lin Xian snorted, then turned around and looked at the 7 people kneeling on the ground. Feeling Lin Xian's gaze, Nangong Hao and the others trembled in fear. Before this, they were furious and wanted to take revenge. But now, after witnessing the scene of Lin Xian killing the Azura Hall Master and Southern Wasteland City Lord with their own eyes, they were completely dumbfounded. They had never heard of such a method before. It was simply not something they could imagine. It should be known that even if they were to join forces, they might not necessarily be able to kill the Azura Hall's Hall Master. Yet, the Azura Hall's Hall Master had done so easily. What was even more shocking was that the other party had killed the Southern Wasteland City Lord, whose cultivation wasn't any weaker than the Shura Hall's Hall Master, with a single finger. Such a method was too horrifying, making it impossible for them to resist. I beg you, don't kill me. Spare me. I beg you, spare me. I was wrong, I was really wrong. I apologize for what happened before. Please let me go. At this moment, the Sky Prides were all kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. No one dared to say anything. They didn't want to think about anything else now. They just wanted to save their own lives. Lin Xian snorted. These people were from the Black Dragon sect. Their hands were stained with the blood of innocent people. How could he let them go? He raised his hand and was about to kill the 7 people. However, at this moment, another angry roar came from afar. Who dares to touch the people of the Blood Evil Hall? How dare you? Let my disciple go. 2 cold shouts were heard. Then 2 figures appeared in the sky like lightning. The 2 figures were too fast. In an instant they were in front of the crowd. When the crowd saw them, they immediately cried out in surprise. Nangong Hao and Blood Rogue, who were kneeling on the ground, cried out loudly. Master! Hall Master, save me! It turned out that the 2 of them were the Hall Masters of the Divine Pill Hall and the Blood Evil Hall. They didn't expect them to come personally. The Hall Master of the Divine Pill Hall was an old man. He wasn't tall and wore a white robe. However, his eyes were as sharp as a divine eagle's. His body exuded a terrifying aura. He was more powerful than the governor of the Southern Desolation Ancient Town and the Azura Honorable from the Azura Hall. He was the Hall Master of the Divine Pill Hall, known as the Divine Pill Honorable. Beside him was a middle-aged man. He was tall and had a powerful aura. He wore a bright red robe with blood flowing on it. It was shining brightly. This person had a murderous aura, as if he was a bloody devil. He was the Hall Master of the Blood Evil Hall, the Blood Evil Honorable. His aura was several times more powerful than Blood Rogue's. Divine Pill Honorable, Blood Evil Honorable. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect two hall masters to appear. It's over. Hua Wufeng is in danger. That's right. With the two hall masters taking action, their strength can be considered heaven-defying. Looks like Nangong Hao and Blood Rogue's lives are saved. Just as the crowd was discussing, two angry shouts came from afar. Kid! How dare you touch the people of the evil ghost hall? You must be tired of living. Humph! How dare you touch the people of the Pink family? Kneel down and accept your death. Hearing the two shouts, the crowd was shocked again. Ghost Li and Yu Luosha, who were kneeling on the ground, were overjoyed. Hall Master! Master, save me! Shush! Shush! Two figures appeared in front of the crowd. They stood in the void. Their powerful aura shrouded the area. An invisible killing intent filled the air. The evil ghost honorable. The Pink honorable. The crowd was shocked. They couldn't believe it. The scene was too shocking. The person on the left was a middle-aged man. He was skinny and wore a huge black robe that covered his entire body. He wore a black robe on his head as well. His face couldn't be seen clearly. However, one could occasionally see two balls of flames dancing in his eyes. On his shoulders, there were two hideous ghost heads that exuded a cold and terrifying aura. In his hand, there was a white bone wand. As he waved it, countless ghost shadows and vengeful spirits were entangled in it. That aura was enough to make one feel hopeless. He was the hall master of the evil ghost hall, the evil ghost honorable. The person on the right was a middle-aged woman. She looked to be in her 40s. However, there were no signs of aging on her face. Her skin was as smooth as a baby's. Not only that, there was a mature charm to her. She was like a blooming peach blossom. Her every move was filled with endless charm. The woman was the leader of the Pink family. However, her eyes were filled with killing intent. She glared at Lin Xian and shouted, "Kid, how dare you touch my people? Kneel down and accept your death." Lin Xian lifted his head and looked at the people in the sky. His eyes flickered. Four hall masters? Interesting. Chapter 1397. Lin Xian raised his head slightly and looked at the people in the sky. Four hall masters? Interesting. But it's not enough. Everyone's lips twitched and their scalps went numb. Four hall masters are not enough? Is this kid crazy? The four hall masters in the sky shouted coldly and were about to attack. However, at this moment, another angry shout came from behind. Then 2 bolts of lightning rushed over. Suddenly, Feng Huti and Shadowless screamed from below. 2 more Hall Masters. Everyone exclaimed and felt a little dizzy. That's right. 2 more figures appeared in the sky. They were the Black Wind Hall Master and the Assassination Hall Master. The Black Wind Hall Master was a middle-aged man in black armor and held a black spear. However, his aura was many times more powerful than Feng Huti's. The Assassination Hall Master was an old man. He looked ordinary and expressionless, as if he was an ordinary person. However, no one dared to look down on him, because he could assassinate a guardian. Apart from Gu Yuan, who was in despair, the rest of the supreme talents who were kneeling on the ground were overjoyed, because their elders and hall masters were all here. The hall masters gathered in the sky and locked their gazes on Lin Xian. They did not hide their cold killing intent. Any one of the 6 hall masters could dominate a region and make countless people kneel before them. However, at this moment, the 6 of them were even more terrifying. Perhaps no one could fight against them. Not to mention Lin Xian. Even the 3rd guardian might not be able to fight against them. Master, that kid got 3 mysterious crystals. Take him down quickly. Nangong Hao shouted crazily from below. Yes, not only did he steal my mysterious crystals, but he also stole the Blood Soul Stone. We must kill him. Yu Luosha screamed. He stole 3 mysterious crystals? And a Blood Soul Stone. Hearing that, the 6 hall masters in the sky looked fervent. Kid, kneel down and hand over the mysterious crystals and the Blood Soul Stone. I can give you a quick death. Let him go. Young man, I advise you not to make a mistake. Although you are strong, you can't fight against the 6 of us. Hand it over or die. The 6 hall masters were like 6 huge mountains pressing down on the sky, making it hard for people to breathe. The surrounding martial artists were pale, and their bodies were on the verge of collapse. In front of the 6 massive auras, they were like ants, unable to resist at all. However, Lin Xian's expression remained the same, and there was even a hint of disdain at the corner of his mouth. He ignored the 6 people and turned to look at Nangong Hao and the others. Brat, hurry up and let her go, or you're dead. Hand over the mysterious crystal, and I can spare your life. I'm going to return the pain I suffered 100-fold. Nangong Hao and the others roared crazily with ferocious faces. Nangong Hao, Bloodhand, and the others roared madly. They were no longer afraid. What? Just because 6 hall masters have arrived, you've become arrogant again? Have you forgotten your own situation? Lin Xian looked at Nangong Hao and the others and harumphed coldly. Brat, I advise you to be sensible. Quickly surrender and obediently allow yourself to be captured. I admit that you're strong, but in the face of 6 hall masters, you have no power to fight back. Surrender, and I can spare your life. The 7 people who were kneeling on the ground sneered. Idiots. Even if 6 challenger-level martial artists were here, they wouldn't be able to save you, let alone 6 hall masters. No one can stop me from killing those I want to kill. Lin Xian stopped smiling and waved his hand. Instantly, the light palms that were floating above Nangong Hao and the others slammed down. How dare you? No! Master, save me! Bloodhand, Ghostly, and the others screamed madly, their faces full of despair. They had never thought that Lin Xian would really dare to attack them. Impossible! How dare he do that? Is he not afraid of the revenge of the 6 hall masters? However, they definitely did not know what would happen to Lin Xian, because when the 7 light palms landed, the 7 sky prides who were kneeling on the ground were instantly smashed into a mist of blood. Boom! Their bodies exploded, their flesh and blood splattered, and their bones shattered into pieces. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. Their minds went blank, and they could not believe it. As for the 6 hall masters in the sky, their pupils abruptly shrank. To be honest, they were also dumbfounded, because they could not believe that the other party would attack them. One had to know that they were the 6 hall masters. In the face of such an attack, even the protectors could not do anything, let alone a young boy. However, the other party still attacked without hesitation. Good, good, good. Boy, I've underestimated you. The Divine Pill Honorable laughed out of anger. Boy, how dare you? However, since you dared to kill the people of the Blood Fiend Hall, your end will be extremely miserable. The blood fiend Honorable's expression was ferocious. Brat, I won't let you die so easily. I'm going to capture you and torture you alive for 49 days. I'll let you die in endless despair. The pink Honorable's face was also pale, and her body was trembling with anger. In the next moment, the 6 hall masters were completely enraged. They swore that they would capture Lin Xian and let him know what regret was. Lin Xian's black hair fluttered in the wind as he looked up to the sky and laughed. 6 hall masters? Good, good, good. Together with the dead Shura Hall Master and Nether Hall Master, the 8 Hall Masters of the Black Dragon sect are finally gathered. I was still thinking about how to find you, but I didn't expect you to send yourselves to me. In that case, I'll personally send you on your way. What did you say? What Shura Hall Master and Nether Hall Master? Black Dragon sect? How dare you call them Black Dragon sect? Who are you? When the 6 Hall Masters heard Lin Xian's words, they were stunned and their brows furrowed. They knew about the death of the Shura Honorable. But what about the Nether Honorable? They had not received any news about the Nether Hall. And now the other party had mentioned that the Nether Hall Master had been killed. Damn guy. I'm afraid he's not from the Black Dragon sect. Hurry up and capture him. Let's see who he is. Kill. The blood fiend Honorable roared, and his blood chi surged to the sky. Then countless blood-red runes surrounded his fingertips. Suddenly, a huge blood-red light palm covered the sky and grabbed at Lin Xian. Boom, boom, boom. The palm slammed down, and the space in front of it collapsed, forming a terrifying black hole. However, Lin Xian's figure still disappeared. What a fast speed! The blood fiend Honorable frowned. He did not expect Lin Xian to be so fast that he could dodge his attack. Be careful, this kid is not weak. The Black Wind Honorable said in a deep voice. When they came, they had received news that Lin Xian had killed the Shura Honorable and the city governor. Therefore, they did not let their guard down. However, they had underestimated Lin Xian's strength. Chapter 1398. Whoosh! A gust of wind swept across, and Lin Xian's figure instantly appeared in front of the six of them. In the next moment, he drew out the Lone Star sword, and a terrifying sword intent erupted from his body. With a slash of the sword, the heavens and earth shook. With a clang, the huge blood-red palm in the sky was instantly split into two halves, and endless blood splattered everywhere. Hence, at this moment, you're courting death. He desperately wanted to capture blood demon roared, and let out a miserable shriek. Could capture her quickly. Then, endless the elite martial artist burst out from his body, hall, covering the entire sky. And however, just as the aura rushed towards Morong Ching Ching and Luo Bingshan, puff. According to their venerable thinking, blood demons Lin Xian flew up, who was in the sky, out, would definitely surrender as long as they captured even until his death. However, they were too naive that his opponent looking at the martial artist rushing towards him. What? Luo Bingshan snorted coldly and pulled out the long saber at his waist. When the remaining five venerables saw the saber radiance flashed and filled the surroundings. Damn it, let's join forces. The terrifying saber radiance was like a vast galaxy. The divine core venerable roared crazily. He felt a chill in his heart, because he realized that he had indeed underestimated his opponent's strength. Hundreds of martial artists with such killed in an instant. His opponent was definitely not weaker than the Guardian. How can he be so strong? He had already reached everyone the peak was of terrified and quickly retreated. They were no match for him in a one-on-one fight. Forward. So they had to join forces to kill him. They were too careless. However, they thought that just the two ladies beside Venerable Xian should not have much strength. He encountered a big problem. Easier to capture. A phoenix bathed in black flames they did not expect the other party to be so strong and quickly pounced on him. Looking at the might of his saber, you're courting death get lost. It was not any weaker than the divine core venerable roared. In fact, it was even stronger. Both of his palms. This was natural. Endless flames were also waved out from his palms, layer venerable, forming a row of fire walls. To assassinate he was very confident in competing with flames. These people were simply extraordinary. And they were even more powerful than the fire spirit. She raised her lily white hand in the next moment, pressed towards he let out a miserable shriek. Puff, because the fire walls appeared from the void that he had unleashed. His body kept protruding up in an instant, and his face was filled with horror. On the other hand, his opponent's hall master of the assassination hall. Nothing happened to assassination, and it instantly he originally wanted to capture Morong. What kind of flame is this? But he did not expect the other party to be so terrifying. The divine core venerable screamed in horror in an instant. He realized that this flame was not any weaker than his suffocated. This was an existence that he could not contend against. The divine core venerable assassination was so scared that his scalp went numb. The divine core venerable is also dead. The purple-clothed lady the four hall masters was far stronger than him. Even the protector was not his match. In just an instant, they must escape quickly. They had lost two hall masters. He was scared out of his wits. This was something they simply could not accept. The two ladies and one man before him were far stronger than him. They were all stunned. Any one of them they did not dare to believe their eyes. The appearance of such a strong person in his black dragon sect that they could only look definitely a disaster. But now he had to report like a dog. Sect master. This kind of huge contrast gave them an infinite shock. The other party definitely not the disciple of the third protector. He was courting death. Who is he? She waved her lily white hand. This kid's strength has already surpassed the third protector. A purple cloud like a saber cut the venerable assassination was definitely not Hua Wufeng. The venerable assassination is also dead. Guardian. Seeing this, if they were disciples of everyone screamed in fear. They wouldn't dare to kill so many hall masters. The remaining three hall masters how arrogant they were also felt their scalps go numb. Companions. Their faces were filled with fear. But can't we capture his companions? Stop fighting. Below, the divine pill hall and blood shook their heads. Scattering hall's martial artists roared madly. Everything they wanted before to capture Lin Xian's companions, since you have already obtained the mysterious crystal. Nearly 100 martial artists madly rushed towards and will not attack you. And Luo Bingshan. If you want to leave in the sky, leave. Even the king of assassins, the honorable assassin, Venerable also quickly shook his head. This was because he had also received news that Lin Xian had attacked the Azure Hall. They were terrified because someone had insulted the purple-clothed lady beside him. In the blink of an eye, half of their hall masters were dead. The remaining three were naturally no match for Su Quebec. However, Lin Xian shook his head coldly. Kneel down and kowtow 10 times. Then, I will consider taking you as my slaves. Otherwise, only death awaits you. What? Kid, you are courting death. The hall master of the malicious spirit hall looked ferocious. The other two hall masters also looked terrible. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. Kowtow 10 times? Become their slaves? What a joke. Chapter 1399. Lin Xian shook his head coldly. Kneel down and kowtow 10 times. And I'll consider keeping you as my slaves. Otherwise you'll die. What? Kid, you're courting death. The malicious spirit hall master looked ferocious. The other two hall masters also looked terrible, and their eyes were filled with killing intent. Count out 10 times? Become slaves? What a joke! Although they couldn't defeat him, they wouldn't accept such a condition. Kid, don't be so arrogant. If you push me too far, we'll fight to the death. Humph. Even if we die together, I won't agree to your request. Black Wind Venerable snorted. Don't talk nonsense with him. Let's fight. Then, the three of them quickly burned their spiritual energy and released a powerful aura, raising their combat strength to the peak of LV9. This was the secret technique of the Black Dragon sect, which could increase their strength in times of crisis to save their lives. However, after that, they would suffer a serious backlash. But in the face of danger, they couldn't care less about that. They had to kill Lin Xian first. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. The three of them greatly increased their strength to the peak of LV9 and surrounded Lin Xian. King of Ghosts, Malicious Spirit Venerable shouted, and quickly waved the white bone staff in his hand. Suddenly, countless ghosts and vengeful spirits rushed out and formed a Ghost King. Earth-destroying spear. Black Wind Venerable roared, and the long spear in his hand rushed out like a raging dragon. Aurora Slash. Pink Venerable also pulled out a treasured sword, held it in her hand, and quickly slashed out 18 times. The terrifying sword radiance was terrifying. The three hall masters burned their spiritual energy and attacked without thinking of the consequences, releasing an unparalleled power. Lin Xian snorted and quickly activated the astral armor. Suddenly, a set of blue armor appeared and covered his body, revealing only a pair of cold eyes. His palms kept changing as he shouted, 9 changes of the firmament, 9-headed snakelet transformation. The void fluctuated, and a huge monster rose from the ground. This monster was extremely terrifying. It had 9 heads, and each of them was extremely ferocious. It was as if the Demon King was reborn. Ancient vicious beast, 9-headed snakelet. It was extremely brutal. This was the 5th transformation of the 9 transformations of the firmament. At this moment, it was executed by Lin Xian. It could be said to be extremely terrifying. The 9-headed snakelet swung its 9 gigantic heads, and 3 of them roared angrily, spewing out flames, lightning, and hailstones. Immediately, they bombarded the attacks of the 3 hall masters in the sky. Rumble! The void trembled as energy exploded. Violent energy swept out in all directions. This energy was too violent. Even the hall master found it hard to resist. Instantly, the 3 hall masters were blasted back. Lin Xian, on the other hand, remained as still as a mountain. He activated the cosmic battle armor to the extreme. This battle armor could defend against 7 layers of damage. Therefore, even if this energy was violent, he could still withstand it. Jiuing Go. Lin Xian's body moved like lightning. He controlled the huge 9-headed snakelet and quickly counterattacked. Immediately, the other 3 heads roared ferociously and turned into demonic hands, biting toward the 3 hall masters. The 3 heads moved as fast as lightning and appeared in front of the hall master in an instant. They opened their bloody mouths, and their sharp teeth bit through the hall master's armor. Ah, no, I won't die. Damn it, get out of my way. Brat, you dare to kill me? The pink aristocratic family will not let you off. Shrill screams rang out. However, in the next moment, the bodies of the 3 hall masters suddenly split open and were bitten into countless pieces. At this point, the 7 supreme talents and 6 hall masters were completely annihilated. Not a single one of them survived. What? They're all dead. Impossible, I don't believe it. Below, the martial artists of the Black Dragon sect were horrified and filled with despair. 6 hall masters, including the Shura hall master and the Southern Wasteland city master. There were 8 hall masters in total. They were the most solid force of the Black Dragon sect. However, at this moment, they had been completely annihilated. This was definitely going to pierce through the heavens. The Black Dragon sect would definitely be infuriated and retaliate crazily. However, Lin Xian did not care about this at all. He stood in the sky and looked down at the martial artists of the Black Dragon sect who were escaping. His face was extremely cold, after which he activated his ice martial soul. Countless cold air spread out and quickly shrouded the area below. Ka 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 ka. Below, the southern wilderness ancient town quickly formed ice. In an instant, a frozen ancient town was formed, freezing all the buildings and martial artists inside. In the next moment, Lin Xian called out to Morong Qingcheng, the falling ice mountain, and the dark red divine dragon. The group flew into the sky. Only the ancient town of ice was left, shining with a cold light under the sun. Soon Lin Xian and the group left the place and arrived at the spirit ship high in the sky. Next, the dark red divine dragon drove the spirit ship and left the southern wilderness ancient town. Lin Xian rested for a day. On the second day, he took out the blood soul stone and quickly absorbed it to increase his blood chi and soul power. This time, he had killed so many hall masters and martial artists of the Black Dragon sect. The Black Dragon sect would definitely go crazy and hunt them down. Therefore, he had to increase his strength to deal with the danger when the time came. The others were fine, but the Black Dragon sect's leader was a king. He was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian thought as he absorbed the blood soul stone. This blood soul stone was extremely mysterious. Lin Xian held it in his hand and absorbed it continuously. The blood chi in his body was tumbling like a big furnace, emitting rumbling sounds. Even outside the room, there was a red light shining. That was the sign of Lin Xian's vigorous blood chi. His soul power was also increasing bit by bit. He tried the sixth diagram of the sky spill visualization diagram. Although he did not succeed, there was a huge improvement compared to before. After cultivating for a day, Lin Xian adjusted his condition to the peak. Then, he called the dark red divine dragon, Morong Qingcheng, and Luo Bingshan over. The four sat together. Then, Lin Xian took out the 3 mysterious crystals he had obtained. Look, do you recognize this thing? Morong Qingcheng, the dark red divine dragon, and Luo Bingshan were very curious. Each of them picked up a mysterious crystal and carefully examined it. What rich energy! The dark red divine dragon's eyes lit up. His mouth was smiling from ear to ear. Morong Qingcheng was also surprised. No wonder those people's cultivation could increase so much. It seemed that this mysterious crystal was indeed extraordinary. It actually contained such rich energy. Luo Bingshan was also moved. She thought carefully for a moment, then shook her head slightly. I've never seen this thing before. Moreover, it shouldn't be in the Tianwu continent. Otherwise, it would have been discovered long ago. Kid, you have 3. Why don't you give them all to me? And Hong was reluctant to let go. You dare to absorb this energy? Aren't you afraid of the side effects? Lin Xian asked. Didn't you say that if you found these mysterious crystals, you would be able to unlock the secret of the demon abyss? Hearing this, the dark red divine dragon pondered for a moment and said slowly, these mysterious crystals shouldn't have been taken from the demon abyss. They were man-made. What? You said they were man-made? What's with the demon abyss? Chapter 1400. Kid, let's put it this way. I've heard of this crystal before. It's called the subdivine crystal. It contains a terrifying amount of energy, but it's only for people above the king realm. The subdivine crystal is very magical. It can strengthen the king realm and make it evolve. That's why it's so precious. And this mysterious crystal has very little energy. It's obviously diluted. So, I guess that the Black Dragon sect must have obtained the subdivine crystal. But they used the subdivine crystal to create countless energy crystals, which are the stones in your hands. These stones are useless to king realm people, but if people below the king realm absorb them, they can greatly increase their cultivation. That's why there are so many sovereigns in the Black Dragon sect. So, you're saying that the treasure in the Devil Abyss is the subdivine crystal? Lin Xian asked. That's right. It's definitely the subdivine crystal. The subdivine crystal could increase the king realm. If this news were to spread to the Tianwu continent, it would definitely make the king realm families go crazy. Lin Xian was shocked. Then he frowned. If the Black Dragon sect's leader obtained the subdivine crystal, wouldn't his strength increase greatly? No, he had to enter the Devil Abyss and obtain the subdivine crystal. At least he couldn't let the Black Dragon sect get this precious thing. Then if I absorb the energy in the crystal now, will there be any side effects? Lin Xian asked. If there wasn't, he could directly absorb it and increase his cultivation again. He was looking forward to it. He wondered how much he could increase after absorbing it. However, the dark red divine dragon poured cold water on him. There are side effects. What did you say? Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. You still dare to absorb it? The dark red divine dragon snorted. Kid, I'm different from you. I'm a real king realm. It's just that my cultivation has dropped, but my realm is still there. But you're different. No matter how strong you are, you're just a sovereign. You've never condensed a domain. Let me tell you, if you absorb the energy of the subdivine crystal, although it can greatly increase the cultivation of people below the king realm, their path will come to an end, because they'll never be able to condense a king realm again in their lifetime. What? How could such a thing happen? Lin Xian was shocked, and Morong Qingqing also threw away the mysterious crystal in her hand. You don't have to be surprised. This kind of crystal is meant for kings to use. Anyone below the king level won't benefit from using it. Although one's cultivation base will immediately rise greatly after absorbing it, one's martial path will be severed. I can guarantee that after absorbing it, your strength will definitely increase greatly. However, you will never be able to condense a king's domain in this lifetime, let alone reach a higher level. Hearing this, Lin Xian fell silent. This was not what he wanted. At this moment, the dark red dragon spoke again. But you don't have to be too discouraged. Although you won't be able to use it for the time being, you can keep it for now and use it after you become kings. Then, everything will be fine. However, it isn't very effective against king realm experts. But if it's a true subdivine crystal, then king realm experts would definitely go mad upon seeing it. So, we have to make a trip to the Devil Abyss. Lin Xian took a deep breath. For the sake of attaining the king realm in the future, he had to make a trip to the Devil Abyss now. After all, the Martial Sky continent didn't have such a thing, and other places might not have it. It could be said that they were extremely lucky to have encountered it. Let's go to the Devil Abyss. Lin Xian tossed the 3 mysterious crystals to the dark red dragon to recover. He couldn't absorb it now, and he wouldn't need it even after he became a king. So he wouldn't keep it. If he wanted to keep it, then he would keep the true subdivine crystals, and not these diluted crystals. After that, their group set off towards the Devil Abyss once more. The death of the 7 Hall Masters wasn't a small matter, so it wasn't long before the Black Dragon sect found out about it. For a time, the entire Black Dragon sect was shaken, and countless experts gathered to discuss it. Even the third guardian, who was in closed-door cultivation, came out ahead of time. What's going on? The third guardian had the appearance of a middle-aged man. After he came out, he looked at the second guardian with a gloomy expression. Don't be in closed-door cultivation. Something big has happened in the Saint sect, and we need you there immediately, said the second guardian. Something big has happened? What is it? Asked the third guardian. The Hall Masters of the 7 Halls have been killed in the Southern Desolation ancient town. Not only that, none of the martial artists in the Southern Desolation ancient town managed to escape. In fact, even that city was turned into an ice crystal palace. And the culprit called himself Hua Wufeng. He's your disciple. What? Hua Wufeng? Hearing that, the third guardian was shocked. He hadn't expected such a big thing to happen. However, he quickly shook his head. What a joke. Do you think I don't know Hua Wufeng's strength? He's only an 8th level honorable. He's even weaker than the geniuses of the halls. Not to mention killing the hall masters. Don't be nervous. We think so too. Someone must have impersonated Hua Wufeng. However, we still need you to confirm the details. Alright, let's go. The third guardian nodded, and the 2 of them left quickly. At the same time, the news of the Nether Hall's destruction reached the Black Dragon sect. Instantly, the upper echelons of the Black Dragon sect were shocked again. An entire hall had been destroyed. How was that possible? The Black Dragon sect had already controlled the entire Tiannan region. They could be considered an overlord that no one dared to offend. Even the Martial Alliance could only resort to guerrilla warfare. They didn't dare to fight them head-on. However, 8 of their halls had been destroyed. Moreover, they were the last to know about it. It was too shocking. The culprit was only a 20-year-old young man, but his combat strength was terrifying. He was at least at the Guardian's level, or even stronger. Who is he? Why haven't I heard of him before? Could he be from the Martial Alliance? Impossible. If the Martial Alliance is so powerful, they would have retaliated long ago. They wouldn't have waited until now. Moreover, the Martial Alliance hasn't done anything. Could it be someone who was lucky enough to obtain the subdivine crystal and absorb the energy within it to become so powerful? The third guardian said in a deep voice. He was now certain that the culprit wasn't his disciple, Hua Wufeng. Someone had impersonated him. That's possible. Otherwise, how can we explain where this powerhouse came from? Then what should we do? Let's report it. The sect leader will decide what to do. The group of elders and guardians had solemn expressions. However, it didn't take long for another shocking piece of news to spread. There was a mutation in the demon abyss. Challenger-level beasts had appeared. Chapter 1401. However, it wasn't long before another shocking news came. The devil abyss had mutated, and a king-level demonic beast had appeared. A king-level demonic beast. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. One had to know that in the entire Tianan region, only their leader was a king-level demonic beast. However, there was now another one. It seemed that something unexpected had happened in the mysterious devil abyss to cause such an anomaly. Quickly report this to the leader. There's no need. The leader has already set off, and the left and right envoys have also followed. The first protector said, "What should we do? Should we go too?" The third protector asked. "For protectors, come with me. The rest of you, activate the defensive formation and guard the sect. We can't let anyone take advantage of this." In the past, they didn't care at all. They didn't even put the Martial Alliance in their eyes. However, it was different now. A mysterious youth with extremely strong battle strength had appeared. If they all went out at this time and the other party came in, it would definitely be an unimaginable disaster. However, as long as the formation was activated, it would be fine. This formation was personally set up by their leader. No one below the king level could break it. Soon, the four protectors moved and flew towards Xia country. On the other side, Lin Xian was also moving quickly. Of course, he still didn't know that the devil abyss had mutated. However, something had happened during this time. The dark red dragon's cultivation had recovered to the half-step king level. This was undoubtedly good news for Lin Xian. The dark red dragon's breakthrough to the half-step king level was undoubtedly great news for Lin Xian. This way, their chances of entering the devil abyss had increased by a lot. At this time, the mysterious devil abyss had already undergone earth-shattering changes. The surrounding 10 miles was completely covered in a layer of thick fog. Above this thick fog stood 3 figures. The figure at the front was extremely tall, more than 3 meters tall. He wore a black robe, and his cold face was covered in black scales. His eyes were dark green and flickered with a terrifying light. The aura on his body was extremely terrifying. It had reached a peak, causing all the sovereigns to tremble when they saw him. He was the leader of the Black Dragon sect, and the only king-level demonic beast in the Tianan region. However, this was no longer the case, because another king-level demonic beast had appeared below. Behind him stood 2 middle-aged men, one in a white robe, and the other in a green robe. Although their auras were not comparable to that of the Black Dragon Chich's sect master, they were much stronger than pinnacle 9th rank exalted experts. The 2 of them were the left and right envoys of the Black Dragon sect. They were existences second only to the Black Dragon sect's leader. At this moment, the left and right envoys stood respectfully behind him. They looked down with furrowed brows. This was because an extremely shocking aura came from below, causing them to feel a sense of trepidation. They knew that this was an aura that only King Tears could emit. When did the King Demonic Beast appear? At this moment, the Black Dragon cult's leader asked in a deep voice. 2 days ago, the Green Flood Dragon left envoy said that because the Nether Hall was destroyed, we received the news late. The carefree envoy of the right also asked, Sect Master, who is it that dares to kill so many of our hall masters? The people from the Martial League don't have such strength at all. Could it be that there are also people like the demonic beasts below who obtain benefits from this mysterious demonic pit? No matter who it is, I will make them pay a painful price for daring to touch my people. The Black Dragon cult's leader snorted coldly. His words were filled with intense killing intent. As soon as he said this, the left and right envoys trembled. Countless cracks appeared in the space around them, spreading out in all directions. It was too terrifying. This was the strength of a king tier. Just a cold snort was enough to cause the space to explode. If the Black Dragon cult's leader wanted to deal with a 9th-rank exalted expert, he did not even need to lift a finger. He could kill them with just a look. There was no time to care about that brat now. He had to figure out the changes in the demonic pit first. Then, the Black Dragon cult's leader's body swayed and quickly descended. The left and right envoys followed closely behind. However, when they were about 3,000 meters above the ground, a low roar suddenly came from the demonic pit below. Then, a red figure flew out from the ground quickly. Red light flashed and boundless killing intent surged. An arm that was close to 3,000 meters long rose from the ground and quickly grabbed at the Black Dragon cult's leader and the left and right envoys. This arm was too terrifying. It was like a blood-red river that instantly pierced through the space. The Black Dragon cult's leader coldly snorted and quickly grabbed forward with his hand, fiercely colliding with the red hand flying out from the ground. Immediately, a violent explosion sounded in the sky. Countless energy ripples spread out in all directions, and countless cracks appeared in the space. The ground below also cracked open, forming numerous canyons. The left and right envoys behind him were blown away by this violent energy. They were blown away for 5,000 meters before they could stop. Damn it! What kind of monster is this? It's actually so terrifying. The two were shocked. With their strength as half-step kings, they were actually unable to block the energy ripples? Fortunately, their cult's leader had blocked it. Moreover, it looked like he had blocked it easily. This made them heave a sigh of relief. Their bodies swayed, and the two arrived behind the Black Dragon cult's leader once again. At this time, the red hand also rapidly retreated and confronted the Black Dragon cult's leader from afar. Not only that, a low roar came from below from time to time. It seemed like a warning. You two retreat and seal the demonic pit for me. Oh, go teach that bastard a lesson. The Black Dragon cult's leader said in a deep voice. Then his body swayed and turned into a huge black dragon, rushing down. The unknown monster below also roared angrily. Once again, it swung its 3,000-meter-long arm and quickly grabbed at the Black Dragon cult's leader. Immediately, a terrifying explosion sounded. Violent energy rippled out, and a storm quickly swept out in all directions. The left and right envoys looked at each other and quickly retreated. The two waved their hands and formed two huge light screens, sealing off the surrounding paths and preventing anyone from entering. Not long after the two of them were done, Lin Xian's spirit boat arrived nearby as well. Although they had not reached the demonic pit, Lin Xian and the others could feel an extremely terrifying energy ripple from afar. Someone's fighting. Lin Xian frowned. This terrifying aura far surpasses ours. Morong Qingqing's expression was also grave. On the other hand, An Hong jumped up and said, D***, this is a battle between kings. Damn it. 2 kings. When did 2 kings appear? It was too shocked. Wasn't there only one Black Dragon cult's leader in the Tiannan region? How come there was another one now? Chapter 1402. The dark red divine dragon jumped up. D*eminent. This is a battle between kings. D*eminent. Two kings. How is this possible? Since when were there two kings? The dark red divine dragon was shocked. Wasn't there only one king in the Tianan region? Why was there another one now? What? Two kings? Lin Xian, Morong Qingcheng, and Luo Bingshan were all stunned. They didn't expect two kings to be fighting. No wonder there were such terrifying energy fluctuations. What's going on? One of the energy fluctuations is very familiar. It should be the Black Dragon Sex King. But who is fighting with him? Could it be the legendary Martial Alliance? It's not a human. Judging from its aura, it should be a demonic beast. The dark red divine dragon shook its head. I think it should be a new king, but I'm not sure why. But I think it must have something to do with the real subdivinity crystal. Although they had guessed the reason, their expressions didn't look good. There were two kings fighting in front of them, and they couldn't enter at all. With their current strength, they couldn't compete with kings. It would be good enough if they could protect themselves. No, the spiritual boat can't go any further. Lin Xian stopped the spiritual boat. Ruffian dragon, come with me. Oh, go too. Morong Qingcheng and Luo Bingshan said quickly. Lin Xian didn't refuse and nodded. They were just scouting, so it shouldn't be too dangerous. Then, Lin Xian and the others got off the spiritual boat. He had the 3 5-star assassins stay on the boat and let them drive away. There was no other way. Kings were too terrifying. Moreover, there were two of them. If they were found, the Lin family members on the spiritual boat would be in danger. Lin Xian didn't dare to take this risk. Seeing the spiritual boat fly away, Lin Xian was relieved. Then his eyes flickered as he looked ahead. Hide your auras, Lin Xian said. Then, he used the heaven-changing technique to hide his aura and flew forward carefully. Everyone carefully flew toward the demonic abyss. Not long after, they stopped because they saw a light screen in front of them that blocked their path. It seemed that someone had sealed the demonic abyss. Don't worry. It's not a king. We should be able to pass, the dark red divine dragon said quickly. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. He didn't want to fight the two kings inside. Morong Qingcheng. Bingshan. In the next moment, Lin Xian and the others were stunned because an intense battle was taking place in front of them. Black. The black-robed man must be the leader of the Black Dragon religion. The leader of the Black Dragon religion was fighting with 9 blood-red arms. They stretched out from the demonic abyss. Each arm was more than 3,000 meters long. They were like rivers of blood, waving in the air. The leader of the Black Dragon religion fought with the 9 arms. The terrifying energy was so vast that it could easily kill a peak stage 9. Lin Xian and the others came back to their senses and carefully floated down. Since the two kings were fighting, it would be convenient for them to search the demonic abyss. However, they were discovered as soon as they moved. Who's there? The leader of the Black Dragon religion snorted. He waved his hand and countless black dragon flames gathered to form a black palm. It grabbed at Lin Xian and the others. The palm carried the power of a king. It made one feel despair. The king demonic beast below also sensed the presence of Lin Xian and the others. It quickly waved its arm and tried to grab them. Not good. Retreat. Lin Xian's expression changed. He did not expect the king demonic beast to be so powerful that it could discover them in an instant. Next, he used the red lotus armor and summoned the starry armor. The 2 armors surged out and wrapped around his body. Morong Qingcheng also covered herself with a layer of starry armor. The 4 of them turned into streaks of light and retreated quickly. However, the king demonic beast was too terrifying. It caught up with them with a casual attack. Don't hesitate. Attack. The dark red divine dragon snorted. Then it swung its tail and launched a sharp attack. Lin Xian also formed a seal and used the 9 infants transformation. The 9 heads roared ferociously and spat out flames, lightning, hailstones, fog, and countless other attacks. Luo Bingshan's expression was cold. He held a long saber in his hand and slashed out a shocking saber light. Morong Qingcheng took out the true Phoenix Imperial Jade Seal and combined it with her bloodline power to create a purple phoenix. The four of them used their ultimate moves and attacked the king demonic beast. Bang! Terrifying energy exploded out, and an energy storm slammed into the four of them, sending them flying. The dark red divine dragon was still fine. He was already a half-step king. Moreover, his life force was also at the king realm. Therefore, he only cried out in pain and did not suffer any injuries. However, Lin Xian's group was not so lucky. Although Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing both had the star battle armor, which could reduce 70% of the damage, and Lin Xian even had the red lotus battle armor, which could reduce 80% of the damage, Morong Qingqing and Lin Xian had the star battle armor, which could reduce 80% of the damage. However, the remaining 20% was not something they could contend with. In an instant, the two of them suffered heavy internal injuries. Luo Bingshan was even more miserable. She did not have starry armor, only a half-step earth armor. Therefore, she was the most injured. In fact, she had almost died. Let's go. The dark red divine dragon's body expanded, wrapping around Lin Xian's group and rapidly retreating. Not dead. Behind them, the black dragon hierarch frowned, clearly surprised by this result. It should be known that although it was just a casual attack, he was still a king realm expert. Even venerables could not block such an attack. However, the other party was unharmed. This was indeed beyond his expectations. What made him even more puzzled was that he felt a familiar aura from the other party. However, he could not recall it for the time being. Who the hell are those people? They are clearly only venerables. How could they dodge my attack? The black dragon hierarch's gaze was like lightning as he looked into the distance. However, he found that his vision was blocked and could only see a blur. In the next moment, he coldly snorted and wanted to attack again. However, he was once again entangled by the red monster below, and the two sides engaged in a fierce battle. Therefore, he could only send a voice transmission to the nearby left and right emissaries to capture the other party. He would ask them when he had the time. Chapter 1403. This was because they had not sensed anyone entering. However, the other party had actually entered. This had greatly surprised them. Fortunately, the sect leader was powerful enough to discover the other party. Otherwise, if the other party had secretly obtained the subdivinity crystal, they would have committed a great sin. Their faces were gloomy,
although he was now in the
supremacy
realm
to find the dark red divine dragon,
supremacy
and the others
could not contend
Where
against
do you think
him.
you're going?
It was still
Stay
not
here.
enough.
Once
Soon,
he encountered
the
a
two
true
discovered
king,
Lin
he would
Xian,
not be able
and
to
the
fight
others
back
and
at
quickly
all.
attacked.
Today was a
A
very
beam
good
of green
proof.
light lit up.
However, he
Like
was
a green
unwilling.
python,
He would not
it
give
quickly
in.
streaked across
He wanted
the sky
power
and charged
Otherwise,
towards Lin
he would
Xian
not
and
be
the
able
others.
to obtain the
Rumble.
subdivine crystal
The dark
at all.
red divine dragon
Suppressing
swung
the
its tail
excitement in his
and
heart,
slapped the sky,
Lin Xian swallowed
blocking
a
the
few
green
spirit
flood dragon's
pills
shadow,
and quickly
However,
recovered
the
from his
carefree
injuries.
right emissary also
Fortunately,
attacked on the
he
other
had many
side.
spirit pills
A blade
in his
light lit
possession.
up like cold
Moreover,
iron,
shining
the art of
brightly in the
longevity
void,
was extremely
a terrifying
magical
and boundless
and could
power
greatly
quickly
increase his
enveloped
recovery
Lin Xian
speed.
and the others.
Moreover,
The
during
two
this
emissaries
period
were
of
both
time,
half-step
he had been
kings.
cultivating
At
the
this
furious
moment,
dragon
they
mantra,
attacked at the same
causing
time.
his chi and
The
blood
power
to
was
be
so
exuberant
terrifying that
and
the
his
entire
vitality
void
to be
exploded in
extremely
an
strong.
instant.
Therefore,
This power
he
was
recovered
too terrifying.
very quickly.
Even a
In
ninth
just one
heaven
day,
venerable
he
would
had
not be able
recovered
to
from all the
resist it.
injuries on his
Lin
body.
Xian snorted
If other
coldly as
supremacy
he
saw
crazily
this scene,
activated the
their
great
jaws
dragon
would
sword
definitely
soul in
drop.
his body.
One had to know
Erupting
that
with
that was an attack
unparalleled
from a
fighting
king.
strength.
If it was
He
anyone
pulled out the
else,
Lone Star
it would
sword and
probably
waved
take
it in
them
the
a
air.
year and a half to
Suddenly,
completely
a
recover.
huge sword light
As for
fell
Lin
from the
Xian,
sky.
it only
as if it
took
was
him a
going
day
to cut
to
the sky
completely
in
recover.
half. At the
After
same
recovering
time,
his body,
his palms kept
Lin
forming
Xian did
seals.
not immediately come
Qiongqi,
out.
Tianpeng,
Instead,
and
he
Di Jiang
continued
appeared
to
in the sky
cultivate
and roared
and
in all
adjusted
directions.
his condition to the
Lin
peak.
Xian's black hair
Then,
fluttered
he
in
took
the
out
wind
the blood soul
as he
stone
raised
and
his
crazily
fighting
absorbed
strength
it
to the extreme.
Not only that,
Rumble,
he was also
terrifying energy
multitasking
exploded
while absorbing
but
the
it blocked
power of
the
the blood
attacks
soul
of the two
stone.
half-step kings.
He was also increasing
What?
the speed
How
of
is this
absorbing
possible?
the sea god ice.
The left and
There
right
was no other
emissaries
way.
were shocked.
He had to
One had
cultivate
to know
with
that
all
they
his
were
might
half-step kings
and
with
break through
terrifying
to the ninth
strength.
level of the
Venerable
supremacy
realm
realm
martial
as
artists
soon as
could
possible.
not compete with them
Otherwise,
he would
although
not
there
be
was
able
a
to enter
half-step
the
king
demon
red
abyss
snake on the
if
other
he was
side.
not strong enough.
The other youth
While
was
Lin
only a
Xian was
venerable realm
cultivating,
martial artist.
the battle in the demon
However,
abyss was
he was
still
still able
ongoing.
to resist their
The two
attacks.
kings fought
It
until
was
the
too
sky was
unbelievable.
dark.
But
While
in
they
the
were in a
end,
daze,
they realized
the dark
that
red
neither
divine
of them
dragon
could do
wrapped
anything
around
to
the
the
group
other,
and
the
turned
black
into a red
dragon
light,
sect leader's face was
disappearing into the
terrifyingly
sky.
gloomy.
Damn
He
it.
remembered that half a
Damn
year
it.
ago, when the
There
left
was
and
no
right
such
messengers saw
terrifying
the
monster
scene
below.
their
But in
faces
just half a
instantly
year,
darkened
a
as they
king-level
roared
monster had
continuously.
appeared.
However,
And its strength
they didn't
was not
chase
weaker
after
than
him
his
in
at
the
all.
end. On
This
the
made
other
him
side,
so angry
the
that he
dark
went
red
crazy.
divine dragon,
With the
and the
king-level
rest
monster
flew quickly
below,
with Lin
he
Xian,
could not enter
and
the
finally
demon abyss
returned
again,
to the spirit
let
vessel.
alone obtain
Puff.
the subdivine
Luo
crystal.
Bingshan spat out a mouthful
The
of
black
blood.
dragon sect
His face
leader
was
snorted
abnormally
coldly,
pale,
and
the
sat
attacks from the
cross-legged
two
above the
kings
demon abyss
had caused him to
as he
suffer heavy
cultivated
injuries.
and recovered.
Morong
He thought about how to enter the
face was
demon
also
abyss
deathly
below
pale,
to snatch
and her
the
entire
subdivine
person
crystal.
seemed
The
incomparably
king-level monster
dispirited.
below did
Damn
not
it,
attack
I was
again.
too careless.
Instead,
I didn't
it
expect
retracted
two
its
kings
9
to be
arms
so
that were more
terrifying.
than 3,000
Lin
meters
Xian's
long.
face was gloomy
However,
as he
although it
suppressed
did not
the
attack,
injuries in his body.
it still looked
He
around
quickly took out some
vigilantly,
spirit pills,
especially
and
the
fed
black
them to the
dragon
two of
sect
them.
leader on the Sky
Fortunately,
Palace.
he had
The
many
left and
spirit
right
envoys
envoys
and
who were
miraculous
wandering around
medicines
were
in
even
his
more
possession
careful,
that were
not
able
only
to
that,
suppress their
the
injuries.
4 protectors of the
Otherwise,
black dragon
if it was
sect
anyone
had
else,
also rushed
they would
over.
probably not be able to leave alive. They were
After
also
feeding
careful in
Morong
their
Qingqing
defense,
and Luo Bingshan
last
a large
time,
amount of elixirs.
the enemy had entered
Lin
without
Xian
anyone
sent
noticing,
them to a secret room
which
to
made
rest.
them extremely alarmed.
Then he himself went
Therefore,
to a secret
this time,
room and
they
went
were
into
especially
seclusion.
careful and
This
absolutely
time,
did not
they had
allow anyone
experienced
to
the
come
terror
in
of a
and
king.
disturb them.
Although it was
On the
only
other
one
side,
attack,
the dark
it was
red
not
dragon
something they
sect
could
had
return
returned
once again.
Fortunately,
This
they
time,
had the cosmic
it
armor.
also brought the Snow
Otherwise,
White little
they
monkey.
would have been in danger.
The two of them secretly
No,
sneaked
I have
nearby.
to increase my
He
strength.
wanted to use the
I have to
power of
increase
Little
my
White's
strength
treasure bowl to
Lin
see if he
Xian
could
clenched his
directly
fist.
steal the subdivine crystal. Wuji, the Snow White little monkey held the small bowl and kept casting spells. However, it did not succeed this time. This made Little White scratch its ears and cheeks anxiously and stomp its feet. Alas, it really didn't work. The dark red dragon sect also sighed. This result was not too surprising. After all, the demon abyss ahead was enveloped by the king-level domain, and Little White had not entered the king level yet, so it was probably unable to steal anything from the king-level domain. Forget it, let's go back. The dark red dragon sect's figure flashed and brought the snow-white little monkey back. For a time, the demon abyss calmed down, but the atmosphere was extremely heavy. Chapter 1404. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, an extremely powerful aura suddenly erupted from somewhere high up in the sky of Xia country. It was like a volcanic eruption. However, the aura quickly disappeared. This aura was emitted by Lin Xian. In the past 10 days, he had successfully absorbed the energy in the Blood Soul Stone, and half of the Sea God's Ice's energy. This allowed his cultivation to break through again, and reach the 9th level of the Venerable Realm. After entering the 9th level of the Venerable Realm, Lin Xian's strength had improved greatly in all aspects. Especially his combat strength. It was several times stronger than before. Right now, Venerable Realm martial artists were no longer his match. Even half-step kings might not necessarily be his match. Sensing Lin Xian's breakthrough, everyone came out. Among them, Morong Qingqing had recovered from her injuries after 10 days of recuperation. Luo Bingshan's face was still a little pale, but his life was no longer in danger. You broke through? Morong Qingqing asked. 9th level of the Venerable Realm. Lin Xian nodded and heaved a sigh of relief. He had done his best in the past 10 days. However, the dark red dragon sighed. Although I broke through and my strength increased greatly, he might not get another one in the future. The King Realm martial artist. The subdivinity crystal was extremely precious. The King Realm, even the Venerable Realm, didn't have realms, let alone other places. One was in the sky while the other was on the ground. This was his only chance. No matter how amazing a genius was, didn't want to give up at all. It was impossible for a Venerable Realm martial artist to fight a King Realm martial artist. Killing arrays. Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded. Divine Dragon Ruffian Dragon was right. Anger. Once one entered the King Realm, situation to be so troublesome, strength would change. One king's killing array wasn't enough. A Venerable Realm martial artist could fight against. Moreover, one king's killing realm martial artist had the materials we prepared, which was extremely terrifying. Even if you want to make a second unless one had the help of a King Realm martial artist's remnant soul in the remote sky secret realm. What we need to do now is to determine the location of the King Realm martial artist as much as possible. It was really impossible under other circumstances. After all, Lin Xian, the king's killing array won't be able to last for long. Although the maximize cauldron was a complete Earth-rank artifact, the two of them conversed as they flew. Lin Xian's current strength, they arrived at the vicinity of the devil of the Thousand Beast Cauldron. If there's more people, I'm so angry. The dark red divine dragon if I still had my soul force, how could I let those two guys who had just entered the King Realm be so arrogant? Judging from their auras, I would have sent them flying with the protectors of the Black Dragon religion. The dark red divine dragon was very piercingly cold. One had to know that the 8 Hall Masters were all killed by his leader before. The auras of the 4 people in front of him were even stronger than the 8 Hall Ruffian Dragon. Clearly, if there's any other way, great protectors. Lin Xian said to Morong Qingqing that apart from the left and right envoys, don't ever provoke another 4 great protectors. Morong Qingqing said with concern, that the Black Dragon religion's leader and not that was determined to obtain the subdivinity crystal. Then he left the spirit boat state with the dark red divine dragon. 2 kings fight again. When the 2 of them were far away, we won't have a chance. The dark red dragon asked excitedly. Lin Xian quickly said after observing for a while. I do have an idea, but I don't know if it will work. If they made a move Lin Xian took a deep breath, it would definitely attract their attention. Boundless light. At that time, there is a way. It would be difficult for them to escape. But I don't know if it will work. Therefore, no matter what, we have to take advantage of the situation. Lin Xian said in a low voice. They had to make the 2 kings fight first. Hurry up and tell me. At that time, the dark red divine dragon said anxiously to deal with them. Up until now, using the king's killing array to deal with the devil abyss was the best plan. Have you forgotten about the king's killing array? Leave it to me, said. The dark red divine dragon quickly waved his dragon claws. Hearing Lin Xian's words, fully recovered the dark red divine dragon was shocked. It was still easy for him to make the 2 kings fight. If you use it now, terrifying divine dragon's aura gushed out and transformed into a huge dragon shadow. At most, it quickly rushed down towards the devil abyss. After we get the subdivinity crystal crystal enough. Judging from the voice was firm. Those who didn't know would think that it was an attack from a divinity crystal. It seemed that the dark red divine dragon really had a way. Sure enough, when the king monster saw the huge dragon shadow, he immediately roared in all directions. That roar was filled with anger. Moreover, he quickly counterattacked. Boom! 9 terrifying arms instantly flew out from the devil abyss and grabbed at the sky like a blood-red river. The huge dragon shadow released by the dark red divine dragon had the same aura as the Black Dragon religion's leader. Therefore, the king monster below thought that the Black Dragon religion's leader had attacked again. This made it furious. It naturally knew that the other party had come to steal the subdivinity crystal. However, it wouldn't let the other party succeed no matter what. Therefore, this time, it launched a fierce counterattack. The 9 arms waved and tore apart the huge dragon shadow, released by the dark red divine dragon. Then it charged towards the black dragon religion's leader. Buzz! Chapter 1405. Buzz! The Black Dragon sect leader suddenly opened his eyes. 2 terrifying rays of light shot out from his emerald eyes, shattering the void in front of him. He had naturally sensed the giant dragon's shadow, and knew that someone was trying to sow discord between them. Their goal was to make him fight with the king demonic beast below, so that they could reap the benefits. Without a doubt, it should be the group of people who had escaped earlier. Instantly, he snorted coldly. So what if he fought with the king demonic beast below? Did those people really think that they could enter the demonic abyss below? They are too naive. One had to know that the demonic abyss below had a king domain. Even he did not dare to go down there easily, let alone a few supremacies. Thinking of this, he quickly sent a voice transmission to the left and right messengers, and the 4 great protectors around him, to find the other party quickly. Meanwhile, he moved quickly and dodged the attack of the 9 arms. Then he stood in the air, his black robe fluttering. His eyes were as sharp as swords, and his body emitted the terrifying aura of a king. Terrifying energy surged, shaking the surroundings. In the next moment, he raised his palm, and countless black dragon flames gathered to form a black fire dragon. The 2 kings fought again. The left and right messengers, and the 4 great protectors received the order to quickly search for the other party. At the same time, they set up a formation to completely cover the surroundings. This time, they absolutely could not allow anyone to enter. Who is it? Who are you hiding there sneakily? Come out! Soon the left and right messengers shouted coldly. Their voices were like thunder sweeping through all the rooms. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly, and descended from the sky. This time, he did not hide because he wanted to deal with the people in front of him here. Who are you? The left and right messengers, and the 4 great protectors, saw the figure in front of them, and immediately became vigilant. The person who wants your lives. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He quickly pulled out the Lone Star sword and strode forward. Go kill him. The left green dragon envoy shouted coldly. However, he did not attack. Instead, one of the 4 great protectors behind him smiled maliciously, and walked out quickly. He was the 4th great protector, and his cultivation was at the peak of the 9th heaven realm. Brat, I don't care who you are. Since you dare to come here, then die. The fourth protector grinned maliciously as he raised his palm and slapped out swiftly. Boom! A resplendent light blossomed from his palm. As he waved his hand, the sound of wind and thunder was deafening. This attack was terrifying. Ordinary venerable ones would not be able to resist it at all. However, Lin Xian was different. His battle prowess had already surpassed that of a ninth heaven venerable. Moreover, he had just broken through, and his strength had increased greatly again. It could be said that he was invincible in the venerable realm. Lin Xian didn't even try to dodge his opponent's attack. Instead, he roared and raised his fist to meet the attack. Whoosh! Wrapped in a terrifying cold air, this fist ruthlessly collided with the opponent's palm. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying energy burst out, shaking the entire space. Boom! His voice shook the heavens and waves of energy rolled out. They were like ocean waves, reaching 100 zhang high as they spread out in all directions. However, as soon as these air waves had the courage, a layer of blue ice crystals condensed and froze in the void like an ice sculpture. No! The fourth protector also screamed in agony. His palm suddenly exploded, revealing eerie white bones. He roared crazily as his pupils constricted in disbelief. His opponent's cultivation was only at the ninth heaven, which was inferior to his. However, this punch was too terrifying. It directly exploded his palm. D***, who is he? What kind of power is this? The fourth protector's scalp went numb as he quickly retreated. However, as soon as he moved, countless ice crystals formed on his body, as if they were going to freeze him into an ice cube. Get lost! The fourth protector roared angrily as a majestic energy burst out from his body. His entire body was glowing, forming materialized sword and saber radiance that rushed in all directions, trying to shatter the ice on his body. However, no matter how he resisted, it was useless. Soon his body was frozen by the ice. Even the chi and blood in his body were frozen into ice cubes. His entire body turned into an ice sculpture, and he instantly stopped breathing. What? How is this possible? Behind him, the three protectors and the left and right messengers were shocked when they saw this scene. They couldn't believe it. What kind of technique was this? How could it kill the fourth protector in an instant? Perhaps even the first protector couldn't do it. Only the left and right messengers could do this. However, the left and right messengers could do it because they were half-step kings, surpassing the peak of the ninth heaven. But why did the other party do it? One had to know that the other party's cultivation was only at the early ninth heaven. In their eyes, he was pitifully weak. However, his combat strength made them shudder in fear. The three of you go together. You must capture this brat. The right messenger said coldly. He was very curious as to why the other party had such powerful combat strength. Only by capturing the other party would he be able to find out the secret. Hearing the right messenger's words, the three protectors didn't hesitate and quickly flew out. If it were any other time, the three of them would definitely disdain to deal with a ninth heaven brat together. This was because they didn't care about such an ant. However, they couldn't do it now. The other party's strength was too strong. They had to go all out and take him seriously. The first protector was an old man. He had a pale face and white hair. Although his eyes had seen the vicissitudes of life, they were incomparably sharp. As his eyes moved, there was a boundless murderous aura surrounding him. The second protector was a middle-aged woman. She wore a long white dress and had a pair of hidden swords on her back that flickered with a cold light. The third protector was a middle-aged man. He also wore a black robe. However, under the black robe, one could see that he was wearing a golden armor. Upon receiving the order, the three of them exploded with all their strength in an instant. Terrifying auras spread out in all directions, setting off thousands of waves. Then, the three of them stomped their feet and soared up almost at the same time. They turned into lightning and charged toward Lin Xian. What a waste of time! Lin Xian snorted coldly. He was in a hurry and didn't want to be entangled with the other party. Therefore, without any hesitation, he immediately used the void-shattering finger. With a flick of his finger, 3 void-shattering fingers flew out like arrows. Puff, puff, puff. In the next moment, 3 deep sounds rang out. Blood splattered in the air. The three protectors' bodies also appeared in the air and stopped in midair. No. Can. The three of them were bleeding from between their eyebrows. Their faces were full of shock. They didn't believe that the other party could instantly kill the three of them, because this wasn't something that a venerable could do. Plop. 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 The three of them fell from the sky. What? They're all dead? The left and right messengers widened their eyes in disbelief. This method was too terrifying. Although the other party's cultivation was only at the 9th heaven venerable realm, his battle strength was definitely not inferior to the two of them. Chapter 1406. What? They're all dead. The left and right emissaries widened their eyes in disbelief. This method was too terrifying. Although the other party was only a 9th heaven venerable, his battle strength was definitely not inferior to them. Thinking of this, the two emissaries' faces turned ugly, because their 4 protectors were all dead. This was an unimaginable loss to them, because their black dragon religion did not have many mysterious crystals left. It would be difficult for them to produce such experts again, unless their religion master could obtain another piece of subdivine crystal. This was not difficult at first, but now that another king-level monster had appeared in the demonic abyss, it would not be easy to obtain another subdivine crystal. Therefore, the two emissaries were furious. Kill! With a roar, the two emissaries charged toward Lin Xian with murderous intent. Light shone like the sun, and he looked like a powerful god of war. One each. Hurry up! Lin Xian said to the dark red divine dragon beside him. Piece of cake. The dark red divine dragon had recovered his half-step king cultivation and was very powerful. Coupled with his experience and cultivation technique, dealing with a half-step king was no different from beating a half-step king. Soon, the dark red divine dragon faced the left emissary. As for Lin Xian, he was up against the right envoy. A great battle broke out. The right emissary did not have the fog. He raised his fist and waved it like an ancient demonic beast with the power to tear the heavens and earth apart. The terrifying energy enveloped Lin Xian. Puff! A sword light shone like a peerless divine sword and split the opponent's fist aura apart. Then, the long sword stabbed out like a dragon. Unfettered palm. The right emissary shouted and waved his palms, forming a huge white vortex. The white vortex was like a combination of countless heavenly blades. It spun rapidly in the air, trying to cut Lin Xian in half. Wherever it passed, countless cracks appeared in the void. Lin Xian shouted coldly. With a serious expression, He quickly activated the star armor and covered his body. Then his longsword trembled. Countless sword lights turned into blazing rainbows and swept in all directions. Pung pung. Lin Xian's sword light was too terrifying. It contained the power of the great dragon sword soul and was extremely sharp. It forced the right emissary to retreat. The right emissary was pushed back, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. He roared and went into a berserk state. He could not bear to be injured by a ninth heaven venerable. Kill! Lin Xian also let out a loud roar as he charged forward with his sword in hand. He was like the god of slaughter. His entire body was emitting a terrifying sword radiance. Countless gigantic swords were descending from the sky. This scene was too terrifying. The right emissary of freedom was both shocked and furious. He didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. His combat strength still surpassed his own. The carefree right emissary seemed to have gone mad. His entire body was radiating with light, making him look like a peerless beast. You're just a piece of trash who used external force. Do you really think you're invincible? Let me tell you. In front of me, you're just an ant. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. His battle intent was high, and his whole body emitted a powerful battle intent. In the next moment, he waved the lone star sword in his hand and slashed at his opponent. Lin Xian's aura was too powerful. He was like a killing god. He waved his long sword continuously, as if he wanted to destroy the entire sky. The right emissary spat out blood again and continued to chase. A trace of shock appeared in his eyes. Lin Xian's aura was too powerful, far surpassing his own. Run! He was terrified. Lin Xian was right. He had used external force to increase his cultivation. Therefore, his foundation was extremely unstable. His battle strength was also lower than a normal half-step king. Normally, this was nothing because there were not many people in Tiannan region who had a higher cultivation than him. But now, facing Lin Xian, all of his weaknesses were exposed. It was like having a powerful strength, but being unable to use it to its fullest extent. This was because this strength was not cultivated by himself. However, Lin Xian was different. Every step of his cultivation was obtained by himself. Moreover, he had experienced hundreds of battles and could be said to be extremely powerful. He also had many kinds of earth-tier martial arts. Once he used them, his strength would exceed his own by more than 10 times. Therefore, the two sides were not on the same level. Let's end this. Lin Xian's voice was cold. His whole body was surrounded by dazzling sword light. The long sword in his hand also erupted with a boundless aura. The long sword pierced out like a heavenly sword. This sword caused the whole world to tremble. The right emissary's expression changed greatly. His face was filled with fear. There was nothing he could do. This sword was too terrifying. It caused him to tremble. He knew that with his own strength, he would not be able to dodge this attack. Therefore, at the crucial moment, he quickly patted his body 18 times and spat out 3 mouthfuls of blood. Black Dragon Secret Art. This was a life-saving technique given to them by the Black Dragon sect's leader. He originally thought that he would not need to use it, but he did not expect to use it now. After spitting out 3 mouthfuls of blood, the right emissary became extremely pale. It was as if he would fall at any time. However, he still gritted his teeth and quickly waved his hand. Suddenly, the 3 clouds of blood mist in front of him condensed, and a black flame appeared. It wrapped around the right emissary and quickly rushed into the sky. Puff! The longsword slashed down and hit the black flame that was trying to escape. The right emissary screamed inside and blood spurted out again. However, the black flame quickly disappeared into the sky. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows in surprise. He did not expect the right emissary to have such a life-saving technique. Judging from the aura, it seemed to be the aura of the Black Dragon sect's leader. It seemed that it would be troublesome to kill the right emissary. On the other side, the left green dragon emissary was beaten up by the dark red divine dragon. His body was covered in wounds. When he saw the right emissary escaping, he also used the same method to escape. The dark red divine dragon coldly snorted and wanted to give chase. However, it was stopped by Lin Xian. Forget it. It's just 2 pieces of trash. Let them escape. Let's move quickly. Okay, I'll listen to you. The dark red divine dragon nodded, and the two quickly flew down. The battle seemed to take a long time, but it was actually very short. The black dragon sex leader did not even have time to react. When he finally reacted, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon had already descended to an altitude of 500 meters. Lin Xian floated in the air with a serious expression. At this height, he could clearly feel the terrifying aura of the king's domain below. That aura forced him to use the cosmic armor to protect himself. This is the power of a king's domain. It's too terrifying. Chapter 1407. This is the power of a king realm expert. It's too terrifying. Lin Xian's eyes flickered and emitted a resplendent light. He swore that he would definitely enter the king realm and possess this power. At this moment, the king realm expert and black dragon sex leader, who were fighting fiercely, noticed the existence of Lin Xian and the other king realm expert. However, this time, the two king realm experts didn't attack, and instead revealed a trace of disdain. Because in their opinion, it was simply a fantasy for these two to enter the devil abyss below. Reckless things. With your strength, you want to enter the devil abyss below? The black dragon sex leader coldly snorted with disdain. Even he had to be careful and use all his strength to deal with the devil abyss. How could the two venerables below enter? He probably didn't even need to make a move, as the two would be mercilessly killed by the energy within the devil abyss. These two fellows actually didn't make a move. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon were stunned for a moment before they became overjoyed. They also understood why the other party didn't make a move, because in everyone's opinion, the two of them didn't have the qualifications to enter the devil abyss. Indeed, under normal circumstances, the two of them wouldn't be able to enter. Although the dark red dragon was a king realm expert, and Lin Xian had the great dragon sword soul, the two of them were still too weak to contend against a king realm expert. However, the real situation was different. Lin Xian had a king realm expert's killing formation. Its power wasn't any weaker than a king realm expert's. Therefore, they had a chance to enter the devil abyss below. This was something that the Black Dragon sect's leader and the king realm expert didn't know. Therefore, this created an opportunity for Lin Xian and the other king realm expert. Attack! Lin Xian roared, and then used the king realm expert's killing formation. Instantly, he and the dark red dragon each held a corner of the formation and turned into a gust of wind as they quickly charged down. You really dared to go down? What an idiot! You're courting death. When the Black Dragon sect's leader saw this scene, he sneered with disdain. The other king realm expert also snorted. However, they were soon stunned because they discovered that the two people below had actually broken through the fog outside the devil abyss. How is this possible? The Black Dragon sect's leader's eyelids twitched, and his eyes filled with disbelief. After all, that was a king domain. Even he had to be careful when dealing with it, and there was no way anyone below king level could break through it. Not to mention breaking it, he probably couldn't even get close to it. Yet now, two kids at the Exalt realm had actually accomplished it. This was too inconceivable. The unknown king demonic beast also roared. Suddenly, 3 blood-red arms shot down from the sky, trying to stop Lin Xian and Yi Shiwen. The Black Dragon religious leader also coldly snorted. He extended a black dragon-like palm and quickly pressed it downward. However, the two of them were still a step too late. Below, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon wielded the king-killing array. Like a heavenly blade, they quickly broke through the surrounding fog and entered the demon abyss. Boom! The attacks of the king beast and the Black Dragon religious leader collided in the air and exploded with resplendent light. Countless bursts of energy erupted and swept across the world. However, it did not have any effect. Damn it! The Black Dragon religious leader's expression was incomparably ugly. He did not expect that he would be careless and allow 2 ants to enter below. At the thought of this, he felt like he was going crazy. With a low roar, his body swayed and like a black ghost, he quickly charged downward. However, he was quickly stopped by the other 6 arms. The 6 arms waved like heavenly rivers, forming a powerful defense and blocking the Black Dragon religious leader. You're courting death. Get lost! The Black Dragon religious leader roared. His body erupted with terrifying energy as he quickly counterattacked. Then the 2 kings started fighting again. Below, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon relied on the king-killing array to completely enter the demon abyss. The king-killing array was created by the dark red dragon, using countless natural treasures and several months of time. It could be said to be extremely terrifying. It was equivalent to a king domain for a short period of time. As long as the king-killing array was present, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon would definitely be safe. However, the only drawback was that the king-killing array had limited energy and could not exist for long. Therefore, there was not much time left for Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. After entering the demon abyss, Lin Xian quickly spread out his soul power to investigate the surroundings. The dark red dragon was also constantly looking around. The periphery of the demon abyss was the same as before. Countless stone tablets were inserted, and the fog was emitted from these stone tablets. Lin Xian also discovered that the king beast below was not in the demon abyss, but was only in the periphery. In the depths of the demon abyss, the fog was very dense. Soul power could not pass through at all. Therefore, he did not know what was happening inside. However, the 2 of them controlled the king-killing array to cut through the thorns and thorns. They tore through the thick fog and quickly walked inside. However, at this moment, Lin Xian's body trembled. He felt as if he was being stared at by a huge monster. In the next moment, he suddenly turned around and saw that in the distance, 2 red dots lit up in the fog. They were like red flames. It was a pair of eyes. They were very angry, with monstrous anger and terrifying pressure. Even if it was a peak 9th level venerable, under this gaze, his mind would probably shatter and his body would explode and die. Fortunately, Lin Xian was now in the king-killing array. Moreover, he had the great dragon sword soul in his body, which could resist a part of the king-killing array's pressure. Therefore, he was safe and sound under this gaze. However, this gaze still made his heart jump. On the side, The dark red dragon's expression was also serious. Damn it. This should be the other king beast. Be careful, don't be entangled by it. Our time is limited. Lin Xian nodded and controlled the king-killing array with all his strength. The two of them quickly moved forward. Behind them, the fiery red eyes saw this scene and were incomparably angry. In the next moment, a low roar came from all directions, shaking the surrounding void and shattering the fog. A red light, like lightning, with a crystalline aura, quickly rushed towards Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. Fuck! If I don't show my power, you really think we're easy to bully? The dark red dragon was very unhappy. He controlled the king-killing array and slashed out a sword chi, which collided with the red light behind them. Suddenly, the energy exploded, and a terrifying wave rushed towards them. Boom, 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 boom. Even though they were in the king-killing array, they still felt a huge impact. Ignore it. Hurry up and find the subdivinity crystal. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and said. The current situation was very bad. Once the king-killing array's energy was depleted, they would definitely die here. Therefore, they had to find the subdivinity crystal quickly. Just like that, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon gritted their teeth and moved forward while enduring the attacks of the king beast behind them. Finally, they left the periphery and entered the inner area. There's something. Chapter 1408. Finally, they left the outer area and entered the inner area. There's something. As soon as they entered, Lin Xian frowned. His eyes were as sharp as swords as he looked into the distance. Sure enough, he saw a sparkling light spot in front of him. Fuck! Substandard divine crystal. The dark red dragon screamed when he saw the item. He did not expect to find the substandard divine crystal so quickly. Kid, go over. Hurry. Hearing the dark red dragon's words, Lin Xian was also very excited. He did not expect his luck to be so good. He had just entered the demon abyss and found a substandard divine crystal. The two of them controlled the king's killing array and carefully walked forward. On the ground, there was a white crystal the size of a walnut. It was sparkling and translucent. The energy contained in it was many times more powerful than the three mysterious crystals Lin Xian had obtained previously. The comparison was like a firefly and the sun. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. No wonder the dark red dragon said that once he became a king, he would not be interested in the mysterious crystals from before. Good stuff. Lin Xian reached out and picked up the substandard divine crystal on the ground. He was about to put it into the white bone ring. At this moment there was a sudden change. The white bone ring suddenly made a cracking sound, as if it could not withstand the substandard divine crystal. Fuck. Lin Xian's expression changed. He quickly took out the substandard divine crystal. Then he showed a pained expression. There was a crack on the white bone ring. Although it was small, it would not last for long. Fortunately, he still had other storage rings in his possession. Thus, he hurriedly transferred everything from the white bone ring out. Fuck, what a waste of a storage ring. Lin Xian was very pained. He had obtained this white bone ring from an ancient expert. The space inside was very big. It could be said that it was the best storage ring that Lin Xian had. He did not expect it to be unable to withstand the substandard divine crystal. Stop shouting. Compared to the substandard divine crystal, this white bone ring is nothing. The dark red dragon was very dissatisfied. I can guarantee that if you dare to take out the substandard divine crystal, you will be able to exchange it for hundreds of storage rings that are better than the white bone ring. Alright, I got it. Lin Xian sighed. But how do we store it? You can't possibly hold it in your hands, right? Why don't I eat it first? The dark red dragon looked at the subdivinity crystal and drooled. Cut the crap. Lin Xian glared at him. Let's talk about this after we get out. Let's see if there are any other subdivinity crystals. Thus the two of them started searching again. Just at that moment, the king monstrous beast that was fighting against the black dragon hierarch suddenly let out a mournful cry. That cry was filled with endless berserk fury. At the next moment, the 9 terrifying arms moved away from the sky, no longer fighting with the black dragon sect master. Instead, they quickly sank into the thick fog below. Clearly the beast king was enraged. In the sky, the black dragon sect's leader also had a gloomy expression. His eyes flickered with cold killing intent. This is the aura of the subdivine crystal. Looks like those 2 ants actually found the subdivine crystal. How lucky. However, the subdivinity crystal will definitely be mine. He snorted coldly, turned into a black bolt of lightning, and instantly rushed down. Below, in the depths of the demon abyss, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon were quickly searching. Not sure if they were lucky or not. They actually found another piece not long after. This made the dark red dragon so excited that it almost jumped up. Therefore, it did not care about anything else, and directly hugged the subdivine crystal, drooling. We've agreed that each of us will get 1 piece, and we'll split it equally. You can't be too greedy. The dark red dragon hugged the subdivine crystal, and did not let go. Okay. Here. Lin Xian shook his head helplessly. At the next moment, his expression changed drastically, and even revealed a look of shock. The smile on the dark red dragon's face also disappeared, and it became extremely solemn. Damn it, let's go quickly. The two of them did not hesitate. They controlled the King Azura to increase its speed to the maximum, and flew out horizontally. As expected, in the next moment, the place where they were originally standing suddenly cracked open. A ball of black flames and a red arm appeared there, causing the entire void to explode. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon, who had already retreated far away, saw this scene and their faces darkened. Fortunately, they ran quickly. If they were any slower, they would have been killed. Fuck. The 2 kings are coming down. Damn it. We've been targeted. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and it was very gloomy. It should be that the black dragon hierarch and the king demonic beast had both felt the power of the subdivine crystal, so they stopped fighting and directly targeted them. What should they do? The 2 kings were simply no match for them. Moreover, if the other party sealed the way back, they could only watch helplessly. At that time, if the energy of the king-killing array was exhausted, they would really be finished. Sure enough, as Lin Xian expected, the 2 kings were charging towards them. In the fog ahead, a black figure appeared. It was the black dragon hierarch. That tall body was like a primordial demon mountain, standing in front of them, emitting an aura that made everyone tremble incomparably. In another direction, the thick fog rolled rapidly, and a red figure was also faintly discernible. Although he couldn't see clearly, those two cold eyes were clearly visible. They were emitting a biting cold killing intent. Needless to say, that was the king demonic beast. His eyes were like a blade, and it was very terrifying. Accompanied by a low roar, it was like a peerless demon, causing people's hearts to tremble. These two incomparably terrifying kings, no matter which one it was, could make countless sovereigns kneel down and worship them. However, at this moment, both of them were targeting Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. Ants, hand over the subdivine crystal or die. The black dragon hierarch's voice was piercingly cold, emitting an endless amount of killing intent. To be honest, he was incomparably furious. He did not expect that in a moment of carelessness, two ants would take advantage of the loophole and obtain the incomparably precious subdivine crystal. Fortunately, he had discovered in time. Otherwise, if he had let these two ants leave, his lungs would have exploded from anger. On the other side, the king demonic beast also let out an angry roar. Clearly, the threat was very obvious. Bah! The two of you still want to snatch the subdivine crystal from me? Dream on. The dark red dragon was so angry that it stomped its feet. If it weren't for my unsuitable body, I would have slapped the two of you away long ago. There's no room for you to be arrogant. Lin Xian also snorted coldly, and his expression was incomparably solemn. No matter what, he would not hand over the subdivine crystal. Seeing this reaction, the king demonic beast let out an angry roar, and its voice was earth-shattering. However, its huge body was like a mountain, and it did not take a step forward. The black dragon hierarch's face also darkened, and his gaze became piercingly cold. The other party's attitude infuriated him. Two ants. How dare they behave so atrociously in front of him? They really did not know what death was. Chapter 1409. The Black Dragon sect leader's face darkened, and his gaze became extremely cold. Their attitude infuriated him. How dare these two ants behave so atrociously in front of him? They must be tired of living. However, even though he was furious, there was one thing that shocked him even more. He couldn't figure out how these two venerables had managed to enter this place. After all, even he didn't dare to enter the demonic abyss. What's that? A formation? It's so magical. The Black Dragon religious leader frowned when he saw the king formation around Lin Xian. Based on his intuition, he could naturally sense how terrifying that formation was. No wonder. I was wondering how these two ants could enter this place. It turns out that they're relying on a formation. It seems like this formation won't last for long. I really want to know if you two ants will still dare to be so arrogant when the formation is gone. I'm afraid that I won't even need to do anything. You won't be able to withstand the king domain here. The Black Dragon sect leader sneered. Fuck you. You're just a black dragon. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? It's not like I haven't slapped you away before. The dark red divine dragon was infuriated at being looked down upon. What did you say? The Black Dragon sect leader's face darkened. He felt that the auras of these two people were somewhat familiar, but he didn't know where he had seen them before. Actually, this was normal. After all, 5 years had passed, and Lin Xian was no longer the young man he used to be. At this moment, he was already majestic and handsome. As for the dark red divine dragon, it had changed from a majestic dragon to a dark red snake. How could the other party recognize it? They probably wouldn't have thought of it. No matter how stubborn you are, don't even think about leaving here alive. Roar. On the other side, the king demonic beast roared furiously. The dark red dragon was annoyed, and was about to use the king-killing formation to barge in, when Lin Xian pulled it back. Ruffian dragon, calm down. I don't think they'll dare to enter this place. Otherwise, with their status and strength, they would have attacked us long ago. Lin Xian was already suspicious. With the value of the subdivinity crystals and their strength, they wouldn't waste time talking to them. For example, the king demonic beast was extremely angry, but its body didn't move at all. It didn't dare to move an inch. Lin Xian guessed that they did not dare to enter the devil abyss. This undoubtedly gave Lin Xian and Yi Zichen an opportunity. At the very least, they didn't have to risk their lives against the two kings. The divine crystals are here this time. If you have the ability, come and take them yourself. Lin Xian was still worried and wanted to test the waters. Brat, don't waste your time. When the killing array around you is gone, I'll let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. The Black Dragon religious leader's voice was ice cold. The king demonic beast roared, but it did not move an inch. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian smiled. He knew that his guess was right. The two king tiers didn't dare to take another step forward. If you don't want to take it, you can just wait here. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Then, he and the dark red godly mountain dragon controlled the king's killing formation and walked deeper into the forest. Brat, you're courting death. Seeing them leave, the Black Dragon religious leader's face was terrifyingly gloomy. He couldn't understand how two venerable stage ants could enter the demonic abyss and not be affected. One had to know that this demonic abyss not only had a king's domain, but there was also a special energy that prevented kings from entering. Otherwise, he would have entered long ago. Why would he waste his breath on them? Not only him, but the other king demonic beasts couldn't enter either. However, the two people opposite him could. This made him extremely puzzled. So what if they can enter? In the end, they'll still be working for me. The Black Dragon religious leader snorted coldly. A terrifying light flashed in his eyes. Just as well, the two of them went in to help him find the subdivinity crystal. When they came out, he would take them down in one fell swoop. That way, the two of them wouldn't be able to escape. Thinking of this, the cold smile on his face became even more pronounced. On the other side, the huge king demonic beast had the same idea. Its hill-like body directly prostrated itself on the ground, and its two fiery red eyes slowly closed. It was actually taking a nap here. However, although it looked like it was sleeping, every movement in its surroundings didn't escape its soul power's perception. As long as Lin Xian and the Black Dragon religious leader returned, it would definitely launch its fiercest attack. Lad, how are we going to get out? After the two of them were far away, the dark red dragon religious leader asked. Although obtaining the subdivinity crystal was a good thing, their escape route was still sealed. They couldn't leave at all. Moreover, the worst thing was that the king-killing array around them didn't have much energy left. It wouldn't be able to last for long. At that time, the two kings wouldn't even need to attack. The king's domain here would kill them. There's no other way. We can only try our best to find the subdivinity crystal. Ruffian dragon, how many subdivinity crystals do you need to become a king? Lin Xian asked. You want me to make a breakthrough? Ruffian dragon raised his brows when he heard this. Lad, let me warn you. Don't get your hopes up. Although the subdivinity realm is extremely miraculous, the energy of the dragon essence that I lost is far beyond your imagination. Moreover, it requires an extremely large amount of energy to enter the king realm. If there aren't enough subdivinity crystals, I won't be able to reach the king realm. The dark red divine dragon was right. Even kings were divided into different levels. He wasn't like the black dragon sect leader and the king demonic beast. Those two had just entered the king realm. Although they were stronger than exalted realm experts, they were much weaker than those ancient kings. Ruffian dragon was one of those powerful kings. Therefore, he had lost an extremely large amount of dragon essence. These subdivinity crystals really weren't enough for him. The two of them discussed as they walked quickly in search of other subdivinity crystals. However, the dark red divine dragon's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. It can't be right? Why are there so many subdivinity crystals in this demon abyss? In a short while, they found another 3 subdivinity crystals, including the 2 subdivinity crystals from before. They now had 5 subdivinity crystals. Even the dark red divine dragon was shocked by such a large amount. After all, it seemed to have come too easily. All right, we have 5 subdivinity crystals now. Lin Xian reached into his pocket and wanted to take out the subdivinity crystal from before. However, he was stunned in the next moment. That was because he had grabbed empty air. There was nothing in his bosom. That subdivine crystal had actually disappeared. What? It disappeared? How is this possible? Lin Xian frowned and his face darkened. He discovered that since he had entered this mysterious devil abyss, everything had exceeded his expectations. He had originally thought that he would have to spend a lot of effort to find subdivinity crystals. However, he hadn't expected that such a precious item would be casually thrown around like trash in this devil abyss. They had easily found 5 of them. Chapter 1410. Lin Xian reached into his chest and wanted to take out the subdivine crystal from before. However, he was stunned the next moment. That was because he had grabbed empty air. There was nothing in his bosom. That subdivine crystal had actually disappeared. What? It disappeared? How is that possible? Lin Xian frowned and his face darkened. He realized that ever since he entered the mysterious demon abyss, everything was out of his expectations. He thought that he would have to spend a lot of effort to find the subdivine crystal. However, he did not expect that such a precious item would be thrown around like trash in the demon abyss. They easily found 5 of them. Just as he was about to take out the subdivine crystal, he realized that it was gone. It's gone? How could it be gone? The dark red divine dragon jumped up. However, when he realized that the subdivine crystal was still with him, he heaved a sigh of relief. Brat, you didn't lose it halfway, did you? The dark red dragon asked. Are you kidding? With our soul power, how could we not know if something dropped? Lin Xian's face darkened. Indeed, not to mention a subdivine crystal. Even if it was a strand of hair, with his soul power, he would be able to sense it. However, he did not sense anything, and the subdivine crystal was gone? Damn, what the hell? It's broad daylight. How is that possible? The dark red divine dragon was a little scared. He looked around cautiously and whispered, Don't tell me. When I entered the demon abyss, I felt an eerie feeling. Could it really be haunted? What kind of ghost is more powerful than us? It should be at least at the challenger level. Lin Xian shook his head and did not believe it. Don't talk nonsense. If a challenger level ghost really appears, we'll be in trouble. The dark red divine dragon quickly interrupted. Hearing that, Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, How about this? You take 2 of the 3 subdivine crystals, and give me 1 of them. Let me try again and see if it will disappear. Alright. The dark red dragon god took 2 while Lin Xian placed the last one in the same position as before. Then they continued their journey. This time, Lin Xian was fully alert as he carefully observed the subdivine crystal in his bosom. The dark red divine dragon scanned the surroundings, searching quickly. Not long after, Lin Xian stopped in his tracks, his eyes filled with disbelief. The crimson divine dragon also turned around abruptly. No way, right? Don't tell me he disappeared again. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth twitched slightly. He carefully inspected the area, and found that it was really gone. Fuck. It's really haunted. The dark red divine dragon observed its surroundings cautiously, as if it was ready to attack at any moment. On the other hand, Lin Xian's expression was gloomy. Impossible. Even if it's the soul of a king, it's impossible for it to approach us. You should know that we are surrounded by the king's killing formation as well. It's impossible for him to approach us without making a sound. Damn it, what's going on? How could the subdivinity crystal disappear? The 2 of them searched for a long time, but found nothing. In the process, they found another 2 subdivinity crystals. This time, Lin Xian took another one, and was ready to test it again. Kid, don't mess around. This is a treasure. You wasted it in the blink of an eye. The dark red divine dragon was very pained. This time, Lin Xian held it in his hand directly. After walking for a while, he found that there was no change at all. It seemed that he was paying attention to it. The subdivinity crystal would not disappear. Therefore, he put it in his bosom again. This time he did not walk. Instead, he sat cross-legged on the ground, and activated the king's killing formation around him. He believed that even if there was a king's soul, it would not be able to escape from the king's killing formation. The dark red divine dragon was also waiting anxiously, because it was also very suspicious. What exactly had happened? It should be known that the subdivinity crystal had only disappeared in Lin Xian's hands, but the subdivinity crystal on its side was still intact. After about 15 minutes, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. His gaze was like a sharp sword that cut through the void. Who is it? Get the hell out here. He swept his gaze around and shouted coldly. However, it was quiet all around. There was not a single soul. There was only a thick fog drifting in the air, like demons and ghosts. Kid, don't be like this. I'm scared. The dark red divine dragon felt uncomfortable all over. It felt as if a pair of eyes were staring at it in the dark. Although it was once a king, the current situation was too strange. Someone could actually avoid the king's killing formation and attack them. That was not a good thing. Fuck. Lin Xian's small face was cold. He had never encountered such a strange thing before. Therefore, he slammed his palm to the side. Boom! Instantly, the nearby clouds trembled, and even a small hole was torn open. Lin Xian did not care, but the dark red divine dragon was stunned. Its expression was as if it had really seen a ghost. Kid Yu. The dark red divine dragon stammered, and could not say anything. Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. He quickly said, "What's wrong? What did you find? Could it be that someone is attacking us?" "No. It's your power. Can't you feel it? Your power has increased." The dark red divine dragon finally said the reason. He was too shocked because Lin Xian's palm had actually broken through the fog. Lin Xian's face was also filled with shock as he recalled the incident. When he had just entered, he had no way of dealing with the surrounding fog. Previously, he had just casually waved his palm to vent the anger in his heart. He did not expect that it would actually break through a trace of the fog. The change in power could be said to be very obvious. However, he had not sensed it before. To be precise, he had not thought in this direction at all. The dark red divine dragon shouted, "Kid, could it be that you absorbed the divine crystal that time? Don't joke around." Lin Xian was also extremely nervous. He clearly remembered that if he had absorbed the divine crystal before becoming a king, then he would never be able to condense a king's domain. Thinking of this, he immediately checked his cultivation power. When he saw that his cultivation had not increased, he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, things were not as bad as he had imagined. However, when he felt the power again, his face immediately darkened. It had increased. His power had really increased. And it was an obvious increase. What's going on? Did I really absorb the divine crystal? But that shouldn't be. Lin Xian was extremely puzzled and could not understand. One had to know that he had carefully stored it and had no intention of absorbing the divine crystal at all. Therefore, his longevity art could not be activated. Now that the divine crystal was gone, his power had increased. Obviously, the power of the divine crystal had transformed into the power in his body. But how did it happen? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.